Look at us fucking just doing science. We do science so hard on this podcast. It's so good.
It's incredible. On the fly, too.
This is the Imperial Scrolls of Honor podcast. I'm Josh Folan.
And I'm Jay Baxtron.
And I'm Jeff Burns.
And we are going to be bullshitting about the 400 years of console gaming as we revisit the periodicals that covered it again. The boys are back! And we are knee-deep in the shit of an RPG side quest with this pod, where we incrementally fiddle with an old-school RPG, start to finish, with the assistance of vintage game literature. The current quest of Destiny is set in Moda, where we are still getting our bearings on who is behind all the hanky-panky in Sega's 1990 release of Phantasy Star 2 on the SEGA Genesis. The accompanying literatures of antiquity for us on this undertaking are the 52-page pack-in instruction manual and the official Phantasy Star 2 hit book, a 114-page tome, also published by Sega around the time of the game's release stateside. Maybe even a pack-in. We still haven't gotten to the bottom of that. The link to a PDF of those, along with some accompanying pack-in materials, maps, charts, etc., will be in the show notes for the duration of the quest. Emulation disclosure, so you know the tool with which we are undertaking our quest to defeat yet another Archfiend. And Jay, how you rocking?
I am playing via Kega Fusion with my 6-button SEGA Genesis controller piped in via the good old-fashioned USB.
Jab. Walkie. Have I ever called you Jabberwocky on this podcast?
I love it.
On the podcast. That's actually where it started.
No, it's not where it started. What are you talking
better.
about?
That's way better than just Jab.
That started fucking, that was like 2003 or something that started. The podcast, it does seem like we've been doing it forever, but it has not been going that long.
No. I mean, the Jabberwocky name, if I'm not mistaken, Jab is derived from Jabberwocky. Well, I mean, of course, not exactly, but it was
Correct.
Jabberwocky initially for a long
Right.
time. And
So
I'm
what
talking
are you
back
talking-
like 98 or something.
So what are you saying So what are you saying has to do anything to do with the podcast as far as
Nothing.
the name goes?
No, nothing. I was just referring strictly to the name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My mistake.
Nothing to do with the podcast. Speaking of
Now you're
podcasts,
forever going to be Jabberwocky. That's way more fun to say.
that's fine. You're just late to the party.
I know. Why did you never tell me that, Josh?
Yeah.
Well, it was Jab, and then it became, I think maybe even Will might have Jabberwockied me.
Yeah, Will can be credited with just about any funny thing.
Most things, yeah.
From the late 90s, early 2000s.
It was in our kitchen, and then it was Jabberwocky, I think referring to like Star Wars.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it had to be.
Okay, and then
had to
it
be.
went
What
back
else
to
could it
Jab eventually. So Jay, you just missed it.
Nice. Okay.
You can call me whatever. You can call me Susie if it makes you happy.
I am.
I'm playing, I think, also on Kega Fusion. I just see a K and Fusion 3.6. I guess I don't know the details specifically, but I am using keyboard controls and save states. A lot of them. God, that's a lot of save states.
I mean, well, I guess we'll get to that. But
Yeah, interesting statement.
everyone's using them, I'm sure. But it's interesting to hear that you're like stressing the overindulgence of them. I'm curious to hear the story behind that. I am rocking on my Abernic 351MP handheld emulator, so I can quest anywhere I so choose. Please rate and review the pod wherever you listen. If you do enjoy our shit, it helps us quest. For the first time in our SideQuest lineage to date, you don't have to just blindly wander around trying to find, or trying to jar, I guess, a fuzzy memory of what's next on your docket if it's been a while since you last picked up the game, and that is a really nice development. You can stop into the Paseo library, and the librarian will give you a brief recap on what tops your to-do. And did you guys do that when you first got back into this? Or did you do what the other thing that I just described? And just wander around until you figured out what the fuck you had to do next.
I ended up at the library. I was kind of surprised that it just told you what to do. Like you said, it was kind of handy. So
Yes, very handy.
yeah.
Jay?
I just wandered around. Same thing.
Okay. Bummer. Yeah, no, I mean, it's, like it's the first steps down having a quest log and all. Like we said, there's been like a few baby advances in this game, and this is one of them that I did not know about and was surprised to find, and obviously ecstatic to find as well. So you go in there, and she says, "I understand that Todd and the others are going to the biosystems lab to get the recorder." And yeah, it's just a beautiful thing because I forgot all about that recorder, and like that, that's like that's not what we have to do next. You do have to like, okay, I can't do that yet, but it is nice to have just some like long-term understanding of what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing here.
Yeah.
It's the major goal, and like there are steps to get there, but like, yeah, because like we talked about it before, like there's sometimes like these old RPGs, like they just don't have this library feature, and it's like if you put the game down and play another game for like 2 months when you're a kid, like you might not know what to do next.
Oh, man.
You're probably just gonna restart. Yeah. So, and on top of this, I don't know if you guys poked around here too, Jab, but I'm pretty sure, or not, I'm pretty sure. I checked actually. I confirmed that there are new data files as well. So that gets added to as you play the game and updated with more information too. So not only, again, just going further down that idea of it's kind of like the beginnings of a quest log, you also have like the storage of accumulated data and knowledge too, which is also incredibly groundbreaking relative to the side quests we've done already.
Yeah, I did not dig into those. I saw that and I was like, fuck it, I'm off. So I had to go.
Okay, yeah, so now there's history, biosystems, Climatrol, dam, mother brain, and at game start there was only biosystems, dams, and mother brain. So what, Climatrol and just Climatrol, I guess. Oh,
and
Climatrol
that makes
and
sense
history.
Because they drop some shit on you later that actually like is informative for that. So yeah, okay.
For sure. Yeah, no, we'll get to that, but when you come back to her later after getting the recorder, like that fucking sequence was amazing.
Yeah, it was really impressive, yeah.
Yeah, the fucking charts and shit really got me going. So that was, like I said, that's the long-term goal, getting that recorder, but we do have to kind of consult our own memory banks here to decide what to do, and I thought I remembered finding a POI southeast of Sure, so I puttered right over that way. How long did you have to wander, Jay, before? Well, I guess both of you, because you only knowing the long-term goal. Jab, you also probably maybe didn't have immediate recollection of what the fuck to do next.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many places you can really go, so I kind of wandered around and then just looked at the map, like, all right, where else can I really go? And it was there. So, I mean, that's kind of the annoying thing about this game, is just really, like, when I think about other RPGs of the time that we have played, like, the overworld layout is, and we'll get into it more in Tales of the Grind, but it's very weird, I think. There's nothing...
How you're saying, in the way
like
that
it doesn't guide, like, I feel like you're not guided to a certain place. You just have to wander until you go to the place that they want you to go to next. It kind of feels like. Even here and in the next part that we'll get to as well.
Did you not feel... Well, I mean, I guess, yes, we'll talk about it, but I feel like... I mean, when we finished Sure last time, they were specifically talking about Damon, or what the fuck's his name? Damo.
Yeah,
whatever.
but he's
and that he's in the Tower of Nido.
He's... No. Everybody's saying that he's up north. He's not in the Tower of Nido at all. Everybody keeps talking about he's in the bridge up north.
Well, he went there, though.
So, like, everybody keeps saying to me, like, go up north. This guy's killing people. He's up there. So then it's like, all right, I know I can't go there yet, but you know what I mean? Like, so it took a while to connect and figure out, I got to go southeast.
Didn't they? Because there was the letter in Sure, and I could have sworn that, because the letter was from him or to him or about him or something.
I think it was to him, because I think they kidnapped his daughter.
Right.
And they wanted like 50 G's.
And we took her to the Tower of Nido.
Nido, yeah.
Right. So yeah, I think Jay, you just forgot that.
See, also the issue with taking so much time between these stuff.
I got confused in a similar way later, and I'll explain it when we get there. But Jay, you're right. Like, I get a little confused playing this too. Like, I'm not saying that like Dragon Warrior or Final Fantasy are like linear in their overworld map, but like it does just... You know what I think it is actually? A criticism of this game that we could offer right now? There's not a lot of variance in the terrain.
No.
So, like, looking at a screen, like, if you're just, like, walking by, like, I guess these...
At least so far. Here's the thing,
so far,
Jeb,
yeah, I guess.
It's just this planet. Because in the first one, if you recall, the 3 different planets are wildly different. One's an ice planet, one's a desert planet, and then one's this kind of Gaia planet, you know?
It definitely feels like if you, and that's part of the issue maybe with having kids and like adulting while I try to play this, like if I have to like put the controller down and walk away and like do something for like 45 minutes and come back, I have to like, all right, where was I again? Because the overall map, like I don't,
right?
Like to your point, there's not easy markers. Like I could be southeast, I could be northwest. Like
I agree. There, you know, all you have are those habitat farm domes.
Same thing with being in dungeons, though.
And
like
some
even
trees.
when you're in the dungeons.
the dungeons.
Like if you
are
step
so fucking
away,
bad, I mean, I don't know. The
like,
dungeons in Dragon Warrior 2 are also fucking just one note.
Also, yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But it's not. I mean, I agree. I hate the fucking dungeon. I mean, it's weird. I kind of like the Well, and you know what? And this is we're kind of full of shit here too, because both these new dungeons have, or not both of, but not the Tower of Nido, but Roran and the Biosystems Lab both have that new. I mean, it's only the one new sprite per dungeon, but each dungeon does have a new thing. The tanks with the aliens and the trash dumpsters.
No,
so
they do have new stuff. They
right.
have new
So
stuff.
I mean, even we were just comparing it to fucking Dragon Warrior 2. Dragon Warrior 2 can't say that. You know.
I just mean more like there are times when, and maybe not in this one yet, because this one I don't remember, maybe had 3 levels, where if the place has like 4 or 5 levels, and I just happen to step away, I'm like, oh
yeah.
where
I mean,
was
yeah.
Like
totally.
I was here on level 2, or wait, no, I was here on level 2 or level 3. You know, because sometimes it's hard to distinguish
within an individual dungeon. Yeah, I mean, they are just like I said, it could not have the fact that they call them mazes is wildly on the nose. It's
they really nailed it with that description. Like I had the thought, I guess I'll put it here because I don't know where else it's going to fit in, but I had the thought, like, while doing this playthrough, I was like, imagine if every dungeon was the Marsh Cave and worse.
Oh my
Like, these things are fucking hard, dude.
There's one. I was it the lab?
Probably, because that's a motherfucker.
Yeah, I think it was the lab. Yeah, the lab was the one that had come. It took me like 3 or 4 visits, and I was like, "This." I might have even written it down. We'll see if it's in my notes or not. But I certainly had the thought, mental comparisons to the Marsh Cave for that, because it is. I mean, it's kind of. It's like not only in that regard of just like difficulty and whatever, but also in kind of just where it is in the story, and I think what it serves as in this kind of like it's the big mini boss before the real arc starts, you know what I mean? And the real arc in Final Fantasy is, of course, the 4 fiends, you know. But this is the big mini boss hurdle before you start that. And I think this game, we haven't played it. This is a fucking total guesstimation, I suppose. But we haven't left the planet yet. And like I said, this game is we're gonna move across these planets.
How do you know we're supposed to be leaving the planet though?
From the first
Did
one.
We said that earlier.
Yeah, they have the solar system. I know I know that we're going to be changing planets for sure. We're going to be. I expect they'll be going on all. I think there's 4 planets in this game that they've talked about in the setup of the story. So I'm pretty sure, or I expect rather, to be dealing with all of them, and that's why you don't show a gun in the first act if you're not going to use it in the third. So
I have given up on expectations altogether. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I mean, like I said, this is a total guesstimation, but I'm just saying that it felt that it had that same narrative plot point placing to me, thinking about the whole game in that macro sense, as this kind of like last big hurdle, because Roran's a hurdle. And we still have the southeast quadrant of the map, so there may be something else down there that's all kinds of fucked up before we get to leave Moda. I don't know, but we shall see. Either way, it was. I thought the Marsh Cave for that too is really the long and short of it. We're wandering over the Tower of Nido, and I had forgotten how hard I was, like, you know, how far ahead of the fucking curve I was on levels, dude. I was fucking
my gosh.
Yeah, I was fucking annihilating enemies on the way over there. I was like, ooh, this feels fucking great. So, yes, you roll up to this thing, and inside is just a locked door, and I tried the small key from Sure. It didn't work, so I assumed that was that and then headed back outside. But I walk outside, and there's something deep inside of me spoke up and raised the question, like, are you sure that door was locked? So you go in, and you actually have to, like, inspect it and hit the A button, and it says maybe dynamite can open this door. So it feeds it to you, but you do have to try to interact with the door before you're going to have that spark to you. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you guys... did you think, like, oh, I need to blow that door up when you saw it or no? Like, I mean, that's not what I think to do with a door, I guess, maybe is what I'm saying here.
No, I had looked at the strategy guide, like, because I was like, all right, where am I going? And I had just noticed at the beginning where it said use dynamite. So I was like, oh, I remember that being like a big thing that was needed. So
okay. So you were breadcrumb to it, Jab?
Yeah.
No, I remembered because it's like one of those, it's probably like, the result of trauma or something. But I remember in the first episode we were talking about how like you can inspect things and then it'll like give you like a little breakdown.
Right.
Of it. And you were like, yeah, that's not going to matter except for this one spot in the game somewhere where it's really important and you fucking forgot about it. And since you said that, I was like, well, I'm never going to forget that now. So I kind of inspect a lot of things.
Smart cookie. Yeah, me too. I fucking, we'll get to it, but I got stuck in Roron and I was just fucking dumpster diving through every one of those fucking dumpsters for God knows how long.
Well, yeah, there was one place also where I got kind of fucked on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet I know what it is, but we'll save it for sure.
Yeah, I literally just described that, and then in this instance, I didn't do it.
Yep, I think I know what you're talking.
But the one I'm thinking of, it didn't look like something that even should be inspected. It looked like everything else to me. So, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
I know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, so you use the dynamite, and it says like fucking Todd uses dynamite. ... And then I really love this. I don't know why. It was so I don't know, safety conscious. Like all three players. I only had 3 at the time. I guess probably we all did. And you step back from the door. A beat passes, and then a small explosion busts open the door, and you can mosey onto the joint. I just love that they, I don't know, most video games wouldn't bother to have you walk away from it. But
they just do like a little puff of smoke on it.
Yeah. But the party actually physically walks away from the door first, like gets back like a safe distance, and that is funny to me. This joint looks exactly like Sure. The layout is a bendy mess. No, there are some new enemies, buzzers, spit kills, toters in here, and then there's some chests on the 2nd and 3rd floors, all dough and potions, a dymate in the event you. I almost fucking wasted a dymate trying to get through the door using dynamite. So yeah, if you made that mistake, you can get a new one in here to replenish it. And I wandered around for probably a good 30 minutes maybe before just getting irritated and consulting the head book.
Yes. Literally, I'm so fucking glad you said that.
Yeah.
Man, and these straight up for both of them, I gave it the old college try, and I was like, I am fucking 39 years old, dude. Like, I gotta take the wins where I can get them. I just looked at the book.
I kind of chalked it up. I was like, we were coming off that Deadly Towers experience, and I was just not in the mood for aimless dumb shit, for sure.
Same, dude. I was like, I tried, and it was like, I couldn't get my fucking head about me, and I was like, I'm just checking the book, which isn't even actually all that helpful. Not really.
Yeah, they don't tell you. Yeah, that's probably, we'll get to that later, too. But yeah, these maps don't show you where things are. They just tell you that the shit's on the floor,
The maps, the way that they're laid out, like it does. Yeah.
They're drawn. Yeah, they're not. Obviously, it's not. I mean, they are. I'm sure to scale, but not like some really metered way where you can 4 steps. It's not like fucking.
No, not like that. Like you can see generally like there's an item to pick up here. There's a chute to go down or up here.
Right.
But some of the places where even you think, I can get through there on the map, it's like no, you can't really get through there. So you gotta kind of look at it, kind of a macro scale, pull out a little bit when you look at it. But otherwise, I did
fence test, which is worse, of course.
I did the same thing though. I came in and was like, all right, I can just figure this out. But I was just whacking everything. This place was, from an enemy's perspective, so easy.
Right.
I just got annoyed walking around and let me just grab this. So I did this, and then it was a breeze.
Did you start doing the fast forward thing?
I did not actually.
My god!
I needed a stress relief, and so the grind was actually helping me
cathartic, a little bit. Grinding is cathartic as fuck for sure.
It is cathartic.
Yeah, I mean it's got that, and this is again even furthering the point of how much the mazes suck. They all, and all the other games. This is not unique to fucking Phantasy Star. The Dragon Warrior 2 was notorious for it as well. Actually, maybe just as bad, really, but. That shit where the whole point is you got to go up and then you got to go all the way up and then all the way back down to some area you can't walk to, and it's just
you got to go up and down, then up and down.
Right.
Oh my
gosh.
Well,
yeah, this one I think it's a straight shot up and then down, but yes, I think it's the biosystems lab
There's
maybe
a
where
couple.
you got to do a little bit of fucking back and forth, and that's why it would took me a number of visits because that one's particularly fucked.
The biosystems is terrible.
Yeah. You're just trying to get to that big central room on the 3rd floor ultimately, and a sky blue-haired girl in a green leotard and red shoes waits for you there. And did you guys have, I mean, you might not remember because it's not the most significant enemy, but I felt like it had a boss protecting her, a group of amoebas. Did you guys get that? Or was that just a random encounter for me?
I think it may have been just a random encounter for you, because even the hint book talks about like, oh, the enemy you may encounter. And I remember thinking, I didn't encounter any enemy. Like, what enemy were we talking about? You know, I was surprised.
Yeah, they were definitely, I mean, like, the letter described her as being held.
Right.
Against her will. So, like, I like, healed up, you know, before I kind of fully saw her, but I don't remember an encounter that bothered me.
Yeah.
Again,
like
at
I said,
this point, this really wasn't that hard.
Yeah. I just was curious, because that would be the first time that we've had, like, you know, you walk onto that empty square, and I'm like, oh, fuck! The screen flashes. They don't give you that, of course, but it's just that vibe. I was curious whether they were doing that here or not, just from, like, a design standpoint.
I mean, the first time I encountered amoebas, I don't remember when that was. They definitely smacked me in the face the very first time. I don't remember when that was, but
I think they all have that. They all have that spawn army ant fucking capability, right? I think they all can like create new ones.
So I didn't actually experience that until the slug mess, like the tier 3 version of those.
Okay.
Until I started seeing the spawn thing happen, I was like, whoa, you know, when I.
I'm
smacking them fast.
Yeah, I'm not 100% for certain that it's on them, but yeah, that enemy group definitely does at some point or another. So,
yeah.
And the third level here was harder than the other ones, right? The first two.
There were a few, the enemies. Yeah. I mean, all the mazes usually have some scaling as you move through them. You know, I don't think any of them have had just like one static enemy set.
Yeah, I couldn't. This is a while. I mean, I can't remember exactly when I did this, but I remember getting the third level, like, yeah, the first 2 levels, Jay, it was like, nah, like, this is not. In fact, I remember saying, I think even on the last podcast, I was trying to find a place to level up, and I couldn't really find a place. And then I go down to the 3rd level, and I was like, actually, the enemies here are different, better, and more lucrative.
Word. Well, when you address this girl, she says, Todd hands over a letter. Team's hands are shaking. My father has become a killer for my sake? I must stop him. Take me to him. But there are many who hate Darum. His daughter would be an easy target. Todd puts a veil over Team to hide her identity, then takes her to see her father. And a little you did a thing Diddy chimes in, and she's gone, but she does not visually become part of your party. I thought that might have been cool if she like appeared as your 4th person, you know?
I thought it was, yeah, but
just disappears. And then I cast Hinnis and got the fuck up out of there immediately thereafter. No reason to hang out here anymore. And I would say there's nothing else to say about this joint. What say you, boys?
The funny thing is, I learned Hinnis right after finding her. So I remember thinking like, all right, I hope I don't die getting out because I haven't encountered like any crazy enemies. And then I like learned Hinnis. I was like, sweet, I'm out of here.
Great, nice. Yeah. I call it the what is it? What's the other fucking one called? The back to the town. Hinnis Ryuka loop is what I start calling it as soon as you finish something. Hinnis Ryuka.
I just do escape pipe and telepipe.
Once you have the spells, I mean, if you're going back to town, there's no reason to waste a spell or a fucking item slot on this.
I'll manage my inventory as I see fit. Thank you.
That's true. If you want to be more of a mechanical engineer minded, you would probably be more. You'd like the doodads,
the widgets, right? Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So then it is off to Northbridge. It's the only thing left, really. I did go home to check if I had any new fans that wanted to join the cause, ready to spill blood for my endeavors, but nothing doing on that front. And while, it didn't pay off, as I was going back to Paseo for that, it occurred to me how, I was hopeful, and that, I don't know, emotional response to going to do that sold me pretty well on the idea that's a cool party development system, that you don't know when you're going to get your new additions, and you're you got to go back and check, and you because of that unknown, there's like I said, hope, and just anytime, any emotional thing that a fucking one of these old games can do for you, I think is its own, minor accomplishment. So I thought that cool that I had that thought. And when you walk inside the North Bridge, that dude's still there, and that is Darum, but Todd thankfully did not tuck his tail between his legs and just skedaddle off this time. You actually can engage him. And Team actually just runs right out there, and you get the Todd's inner dialogue is, "What's Team doing? I'm going to meet my father. Don't go anywhere." And then she appears with the hood on and advances towards Darum, and he steps forward. Darum says, "Hey girl, give me your money or I'll kill you." And then Team responds, "I have nothing to give the likes of you." Darum, "Why you?" Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. And then he just fucking drops her, man. Yeah. She falls down into a puddle of blood pulling around her. Her hood somehow comes off during this.
It's incredibly dramatic, actually.
Ridiculous.
It is. It's quite dramatic. Yes. Darum says, "Ah! Team! Father! Killing." She actually says that out loud. And then Darum closes shit out with, "Oh, what have I done?" And then an explosion animation happens where he was standing, and he's gone. So he just fucking blew himself up, which is wild. And then Todd ruminates to himself, "This is just one of those many tragedies which have come to pass as the world falls into turmoil. Someone must save us."
Jeez.
Yeah,
so
pretty,
dramatic, man.
Yeah, pretty fucking heavy. Just fucking...
Right? I don't know what to think after this.
Yeah, explosion, suicide, and fucking murdering your daughter, and like
a dark tunnel bridge thing.
Yeah. Pretty
unexpected.
Good.
That's not how I expected that to go down.
Right, for sure, yeah.
No,
and again,
I also thought this was a fucking team member. Like, I thought when we came in here, I was like, okay, she's going to square it out with her dad, and then once that's done,
and join us,
she'll be my team member.
I actually did not think that, but that is, again, cool that it had you, like, unsure what direction it's going. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That is cool, though. That would have been again, because like I said, I certainly took note that she did not join the party visually when it happened, like I said. So if that would have then, it was subverted my expectations in that way, that she just needed to do this thing and then she's going to join you. Yeah, that would have been really fucking cool, It
didn't vibe with the, like, go back to the house thing, which I guess I only came to fully understand it, later in this playthrough. But
I would have liked, again, just speaking to the coolness of the idea, I would have loved that they all didn't come to you that way,
Yeah, for sure. Good point. I probably, no programming issue to just have her join there, I would imagine. So
right. After that plays out, you can then pass through. It works just like the tunnel out of the Paseo enclosure, and you pop out into unexplored territory on the other side. On the other side of the North Bridge, we are in our Biosystem Lab approach, and you will have to snake your way all over the northwest quadrant of the Moda map between the green and blue dams. And I didn't hit any new enemies till about halfway through the journey going down there in the lower left quadrant of the quadrant. But when that uptick happens, you feel it.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, stingers, fire eyes, shit like that, and it is a significant uptick in competitiveness from those enemies, for sure.
I had it written down here, same thing, that, like, it was almost like a little disappointing. Like, the enemies were pretty consistent throughout the game, with the one exception so brief that we can barely even remember it in the Tower of Nido. And then, you get a little into this journey, and it's like, oh yeah, they hit now. Like, they definitely could have...
wake the fuck up.
They could have evened the slope out on this one a little bit, but...
Yeah.
Which also, I think...
What's a pimp to do?
Also harks my mind back to the Marsh Cave in Final Fantasy, because that journey to the Marsh Cave is part of the lore, I think, or like the, what's the word? The, like, kind of not lore, but like the, the stories people tell about how hard that is, whatever the fuck the word for that would be that I'm spacing on, It's part of why it has a significance in your mind, because the journey to it is, and back from it, is almost as hard as, maybe not almost as hard, but also a very hard part of the fucking whole deal,
Yeah, you'll fuck around and get caught. Like, I mean, like, I remember, like, as kids, like, playing that, and, like, it felt so very much like an actual, not that I had the frame of reference at 8 years old, maybe, but like I came to get it, and
Quest.
I was right. Like it felt like you were in like a fantasy story, and like you geared up to go like set out into the wilderness to find this cave, and like when you left town and took that first step, like everything counted against you in that moment. And like when you're coming back from the marsh cave, like you'll fuck around and get caught by some of those things that paralyze you. They will kill you. Like after you've
Or
completed,
even
the
just
mission.
like those packs of fucking wool. You had like 9 wolves, 4 of them are the purple ones, and like you're not fucking surviving that after the marsh cave.
After the marsh cave, right?
Yeah.
This is definitely not that experience.
This is not that
mostly
experience to be
It's
played.
not quite that.
The same old, and every now and then something harder.
No, not once you get down. Once you crest around, once you hit that west coast, the western coast, and have to wrap back down, go into the lab, it is all way harder enemies. So I disagree with
I
that.
don't know.
But
I don't know. I didn't really experience that. I never really got consistently harder enemies until down by Roaring.
until you go through the thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But here was kind of like the good spot where I kind of said, okay, there's a new town. There's going to be new stuff to buy. Obviously, I'm going to grind here. But I had to go grind like over on the coast to try to consistently just going up and down. Like, all right, like give me the good stuff. Where you at? Yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of this road is the Biosystems Lab, and there's a new town over here called Opuda. It's in the same area, but it's like you can't, like if you find, which I found the Biosystems Lab first, I did not find the town. I did not think to branch off.
Oh,
when
really?
I just, so I like, whatever. I didn't find it. So, yeah, there's like a couple of those farm domes were in the way, so I could see the fucker, and I assumed that was being gate kept from me for like some significant reason. So I didn't even think to like, I'll go back around and try to come down. I assumed that like something to do with this lab I had to deal with, and then I could get over there, So, yeah, I didn't go straight to it. I just went right into the lab when I first came over here.
Holy
and then
shit, okay.
You also there's also that you'll find it. You can't do anything with it, of course, but you'll find the tube hanger whatever thing to the south quadrant as well is right there by the Biosystems Lab. So yes, so the new town, it's fucking. I didn't find it immediately, but you guys I'm sure got there eventually, and I of course did as well. So let us discuss that before we get into the lab. This place is in much better shape than Arima, I would say. It's generally like it more than Paseo as well. There's more greenery and there's less man-made infrastructure. I thought it's like a prettier town, relative to the two.
Not
we
the
had been
prettiest
to.
that we're gonna find.
No, yeah, I like the other one more because it looks like it's a resort town. It's fucking Or actually, is that the one that's a resort town? I think both the ones that are down there in the southwest quadrant are nicer than anything we find prior. But whatever the case,
yeah. Anyways,
there's a shit ton of people here, of course, and even we start to get out of humans as well. There's these cat-looking humanoid deals to talk to here as well. So let us discuss our townsfolk chatter opportunities. The Walmart greeter corrects the cartographer of the pack-in map, says this town is called Opta, not Opuda, and the Biosystems Lab is located in the southern part of this town. And that's not really applicable either.
Right. That was very confusing. I was like,
yeah.
I went down and definitely left the town.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have found the lab already, I'd have been very confused by that for sure.
I was looking in the town for something, and I was like, I'm not fucking seeing it.
Yeah. And then her roll dog has some apothecary knowledge. She says, Star Mist cures your scars, and Moon Dew revives your soul. A little girl by some crazy dude yelling at the clouds for Mother Brain to save him tells us of her dreams. She says, I want to be a musician. I heard there's a piano teacher in this town. The first of the little cat persons I chatted up demonstrated their alienness. It said, hey, what's Mother Brain? And the second had more to say, said we eat anything when we get really hungry. So yeah, the Mother Brain, like everyone talks about Mother Brain. So that I think is fully intended as like they're not from here. Right. They're not up to current events here on Moda. And then there are a number of Mother Brain truthers wandering around. They kind of are all suggesting Mother Brain can't be behind bad shit, like just various iterations of, they're not at fault. Mother Brain's not at fault for all the shit going awry. So that's an interesting, like, political divisiveness, I guess, kind of suggesting,
I'm getting like, this is going to sound stupid, but I thought it, so I have to say it. I feel like Mother Brain is like our internet. It's just like
Yeah.
at first it was really working out for everybody, and like as time's gone on, we're like, wait, something's terribly wrong here.
Yes,
and then
yes.
it's gonna kill us all.
Yeah, dude, of course doesn't. It's never good, as good to describe as it would be to see. But if you can dig it up, that Columbus cartoonist, Toothpaste for Dinner, I've definitely told you about it before, Jab. I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, Jay, but there's a Columbus-based cartoonist, Drew, I forget his last name right now, but the website is toothpastefordinner.com. It's been around. I mean, dude, he's been doing these daily cartoons, or daily-ish now. He doesn't do them every day anymore, but he still relatively frequently updates it. He's based, in Columbus. But I started looking at that website, dude, and I was living at Olentangy Commons, so it had to be before I moved to New York. So at least like 03, 04, it's been around, so 20 years this comic's been around. Fucking hilarious. Just so in my wheelhouse, comedy style wise. Anyway, he's got this one that is it's like just two side-by-side guys in front of their computer on the internet. And the one says like computer heaven or internet heaven is just the internet from 2007. And it's just like a guy sitting in front of his laptop and he's smiling. And like his drawing style too is like this super crude, shitty looking style. So that kind of adds to the comedy of this strip as well. But anyways, the comedy or internet heaven is just him happy on the 2007 internet. And then the internet hell right next to him is a guy like really sad sitting in front of his computer. And it just says, "You're on it right now."
Like it's you. This is your perspective.
Right now, this moment, the internet right now, 2024. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. I just popped up the other day.
Yeah, definitely get vibes from that, from Mother Brain, as compared to the internet here. So, yeah.
Fair. Lastly, as far as of note ones, there's an old man in the northwest corner. Probably the most informative of any of these people. It says, "In the basement of the biosystems lab, I hear there is something most important," which is nice direction, as I was trying instinctually to go up when I was puttering around there the first time in. And definitely didn't think to be trying to go down, so that's very helpful. Mm-hmm. And there's actually, check that, there's one other lab wisdom guy over here as well, right by him. He says, "The hole in the middle of the biosystems lab building leads to the horrible basement," and that is the Yahtzee one.
So and of course you want to go to the horrible place. Yeah, you got to go there.
Yep. Yeah. There is a cat person way out by some building that explains the people babbling about being hungry, or the cat people babbling about being hungry, rather. It says, "People of Algo are hungry all the time because they can't eat anything." And I still haven't solved what the fuck that means, even to where we've played at the stopping point. So I guess that is something that will develop further down the line. And the building that he's outside has a guy inside with tinted glasses, a red vest, and a black tie with a little gold chain keeping the vest connected. And he says, when you walk in, "I am Used Vestia, a musician. Do you want to hear me play?" And then you have a little decision tree. You can say yes. He says, "Great, pick a song." And then a menu comes up. And the only option for me was fantasy, like fantasy with a P. Yeah. And selecting it starts the title theme right there in the building. And then he says, "Well, actually, I'm kind of busy right now. I've got to go." And you're just back outside with the town theme playing. So like, he just goes and plays you a tune. And I guess I imagine more songs get unlocked that you can come back and do this with.
You can change it. I was able to change the song.
Like, were you? I only had one option.
And then
you're saying change the song while you were playing and it stayed with you?
I feel like he was changing it like at one point, and then
that's what I hoped would happen. But when I walked outside, it was the town theme playing.
Yeah,
so.
But when you not to change it for good. No,
ongoing. Okay, right. Yeah, no. That would be awesome. If you could like DJ your fucking game, that would be dope as fuck. Not
at all. Just this is an annoying loop.
I'm always going to bring it up because it's one of the best games. Final Fantasy Legend 2 has that feature. You can go into a bar and just fucking
like an in-game narratively justified sound test or music test menu op, like most games just put that as part of the fucking title screen menu, and put in the game like this is, I'm not complaining at all. It's just I was a little bummed that I couldn't stick it with me.
But also something didn't seem quite right about that interaction.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
yeah, I was like, something like this cannot possibly be the entire function of this man.
No, yeah. If you say no to this, that initial question, he says, "Oh, I get it. You want to learn to play the piano," which is what that one person was alluding to, the little girl. And if you say no to that, he says, "Well, it's that same thing." He says after the music test shit. He says, "Well, actually, I'm kind of busy right now. I got to go." But if you say yes, he says, "Am I a great musician or what?" And you gotta placate this guy's ego, which I think is funny, and kind of typing into the artist. Whatever.
Did either of you try no?
I did, yes. Of course,
Yeah,
he says,
so-
"Why you go on, get out of here." So he's super upset that you're.
Damn, he kicks you out. Damn.
Yeah, that you don't praise him. But if you do praise him, he says he asks you which character is going to learn. I pick Todd. He says, "Hey, he looks smart. I'll give lessons for 2,000 Meseta." And if you say yes, I'll start the lessons. And then it cuts to black. A short little ditty plays, and he says, "Now you are also a musical artist. Come again." And you're put outside, and then whoever you've done this for learns the music technique. And I used it outside, and even though it's specifies rather that I used it correctly, nothing happened. I didn't get I was assuming that it gave you this music selection skill, and you would then be able to use it fucking on an ongoing basis. But no, I used it, and it just said it worked correctly or used correctly, and nothing happened. Did you guys?
I still haven't used it.
Okay.
I didn't use it, actually. It didn't even occur to me. I figured I would be prompted or something at a location.
Yeah, I figure something's got to happen at some point.
Sure. I mean, it's got to have some purpose,
but I just don't know.
I presume that's what it was. It's on the tech chart on the back of the map in the other techniques category with Highness and Ryuka. But there's all question marks as far as the, what it does or what its function could be. So.
But did you guys try? So you just put it on Todd. So since I went through every decision in the decision tree that you specified, I also, because the first time he said 2,000, I was like, that's outrageous. No, it's like, no, this is ridiculous. So
this is not market prices.
Right. Because I didn't even have 2,000 at the time. So
Damn,
I'm like,
you didn't?
I'm not saving up. Wow. No. So I wasn't heavily grinding until this point forward. Because this point forward, I looked and I had to grind for this guy and then for all the stuff in the town that I wanted to buy. So after this, I was pretty much heavily grinding.
Yeah, because you're broke going in, then you're then you pay for the music lesson, then you're broke again, and you got to buy more shit. So yeah,
I maybe had 1,500 or something. So I was like, damn, I gotta go grind and give it all away to you. But so since I said no initially, I came back and I was like, well, Nay does music. I'm not gonna give it to Dean or Jay.
Toothless Dean.
So
playing the piano. Fuck. Sorry, Jay, I stepped all over you there.
I love it. So I gave it to Nay, and he was like, "Okay, I'll charge her 5,000." And I was like,
"No shit!
What the actual f?"
Wait, also they're not. Wait, hold on, time out. So they're also not the cat people aren't eating and are hungry. Are we sure this isn't a racist thing?
No, it's a sexist thing. Because it's Nay,
shit, okay,
and it's a woman. It's 5,000 for her. So I was very confused. So I said, absolutely not again. So then I went back, went through the tree again, and then said, okay, I'll let Jay do it. And then he quoted me. He said, oh, he looks smart. I'll give him 2,000. So I was like, what the? I was very confused.
Well, you know what?
Maybe it looks smart.
Maybe it's
that.
That's what it said for Todd as well. That's what it says every time, I think.
Okay, so I'm wondering, is it actually a function of your intelligence?
That's interesting.
No, look, because I was confused. So then I came to the strategy guy, and the strategy guy says the price is different for males and females.
Oh my god, so just pure sexism.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Holy
so that's
fuck.
why
I was going to suggest maybe
confused.
it was level, because she's so far ahead on levels. Maybe it would be level based. It shouldn't be, because
that seems punitive.
Yeah, learning the skill.
I have no idea.
These games are sometimes punitive, Jeb. That's not
new. 5,000 is a
weird.
No. 2,000 is a yes.
That is wild, especially.
It's crazy.
Well, I'm not even going to say that because maybe you guys don't know it, but
I thought they were introducing some racial dynamics for the lore. Yeah. I thought that was cool as fuck.
Jab, it never occurred to me that.
Actually, I think that's a better idea.
Oh,
until you said that out loud.
What do I know about this game? What the fuck am I talking
about?
Right.
Well, yeah, exactly. It never occurred to me until you said it out loud. There, Jay, you just said it as well. But I remember it saying that she's a half cat per whatever. It did not occur to me that they might have been referring to the race of people that are walking around, these cat.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's her.
Yeah, that's half her. Yes,
they're her people. Right.
Interesting.
Right. So that's interesting.
Wow. Look at that. A lot going on in this.
But yeah, there's a massive plot point that I just have been unable to avoid on the internet. People talking on our Facebook group and shit.
Ooh, I haven't seen it, so that's
I've
that's the advantage of not having social media, you assholes.
But yeah, the fact that it charges more for her, maybe I'll remember to say it when the time comes. But the fact that they charge more for her based on what I know about her is extra fucked up. Is what I'm getting at there.
All right, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that we're talking about money because let us next discuss the commerce opportunities outside of music lessons here in Opuda. The doctor's office wants 45 mesetas to stitch you up. The item shop has all the usual shit. I'm kind of learning they all will moving forward, which I guess is not unique to this game either. A lot of the fucking side quests
potion, high potion, antidote. Blah,
right.
Blah, blah.
Precisely. Same prices, everything. And I actually had to revive someone for the first time here. So I got a little bit of better of an understanding of how that works. After I acquired the doctor, she died because she starts with such fucking low HP relative to the rest of the party. And reviving her was only 20 mesetas, which kind of blew my mind that it was that cheap. And when they're revived, they get full HP too. So that's a nice little kicker as well. But you learn later that it climbs with the level of the character.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say it's definitely more.
Right.
Died a few times
More for
myself.
me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the gear shop has fiber gear at 430, and the Hunter and Todd, or your agent, can rock that. It's +5 over the base headgear. There is a Sil ribbon at 380, and Ness should have this already from your trek through Sure, but if you don't, you can, of course, upgrade to that here over the regular ribbon. It's a helmet for her as well. And all the fiber torso coverings are here. The coat at 300, cape at 420, and vest at 280. Todd and Fook already have the coat. Cape is for a handful of characters we hadn't gotten yet. And the vest is for Neh only. And it's a piddly +2 over the carbon vest.
What about the shield? Did you pick up the shield?
I did. It is a $1,200 acquisition for a +7 over the carbon shield. And both Fook and Todd can rock it. But Fook had both hands occupied with old Betsy, his shotgun, so I only gave it to my agent.
So you're... Okay, so you have... What do you have in your one hand then, since you're using that?
The shotgun is a two-handed deal.
So
you're saying for Todd, though?
Yeah. For
at the time, I think I still had a sword on him. I will change that significantly.
the sword is two-handed. That's why... Because
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm asking the question because I saved up and bought that fiber shield, being excited like, oh, it's 1200, I'm going to use it. But I realized both my hunter and my agent both had two-hand weapons.
Yeah.
So it just sat unused like for the whole rest of this playthrough.
I think I had that disappointment earlier in the game for a shield, and it was just
mine.
like,
I was going to say I had.
This works.
Yeah, I had buyer's remorse on some shield shit later, and we'll discuss that. So that's funny that we've all had that a little emotional fucking.
Well, the problem is I don't like. This is a consequence of like, okay, so we play Final Fantasy, and God, I'm sorry to make everything about Final Fantasy. It's my life. But we play Final Fantasy. It's like fighter. Okay, like I know what they're going to be able to equip. Like Thief.
Everything.
I've got right. Thief. I've got.
Yeah. I don't want to not get them everything. I know I want to buy them whatever the most expensive thing is. They're supposed to get it.
This like hunter agent. Like I don't know what the fuck those do. Yep. So yeah, I got to look up. What I got to do is actually refer to the chart, which I just haven't.
Well, here's the thing: the chart doesn't really tell you this shit, and the chart all
help. Yeah,
the chart doesn't have everything. I got to a point once I had my shield shit of it later on. I went to the website I will mention when we get to Tales of the Grind and Bestiary Annals that I found that has that information that I will now use exclusively going forward because it's just not. It's
ridiculous to expect you to do it. That's
right.
silly.
Yeah, I mean it's not unintentional. I'm sure from the developer's perspective here, I'm sure they want you for that to be you shouldn't just be doing math problems when you're equipping your characters. Mm-hmm. If you're really role playing, yes, as an RPG player, particularly playing in 2024, I want the math because I don't want to fucking waste my time and be lesser than I could be, of course. Mm-hmm. But if you're playing this fully immersed, you wouldn't have that absoluteness to these decisions, and that's kind of what I think the idea is with this. It's of course not what you want.
Yeah.
So yes, that opportunity is available to us via that website that I'll share here in a bit. But I was not using it here yet, so I was also making a number of poor decisions.
I was at this point after that acquisition, I got really frustrated. I was just like, I'm going to GameFAQs. I had to look up something. I was like, give me something so I don't waste any more money with this grind and the situation. I need to know who can actually wear what. Because
you already said that you were broke in the first place, and then you do that, and it's like, oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
It's like the double, turn the knife. I just want to understand. I want to learn how to play the game. Just tell me how to play the game.
I don't think it's that unreasonable to go into a store and be like, hello, sir, who amongst my party do you think could use these equipment?
Right, yeah, he's supposed to be the expert. This fucking guy should be the expert, man.
So what I'm doing is I'm role-playing, we had that conversation, Jay had that conversation, and that was him going to GameFAQs.
That makes total sense to me. Yep. I think it's much more fun to use the website I found. PlayStation 2 Cave or whatever it is. But when you see it, you'll see why. But either way, that's a great roleplay, Jem.
Thank you. I'm pretty good at it, actually.
Yeah. So, you say that, but we're still not playing D&D, so fuck you.
I'm really fucking busy, dude. And you know this.
Blow me. We're all adults, Jeb. We all have shit to do. We still find ways. We still find ways to... What do you mean? Not so? Maybe not me.
Shut the fuck up.
I think my pub baby's a lot of work, but Jay's got a lot of those. So
did you just say cut that? We can't have that part in the fucking thing.
What do you mean? Jay could have a lot of smoothies. Jay could have a lot of.
Maybe I didn't hear, but either way.
Smoothies.
Next section.
Anyhow, the armor. The only new things the armor has are the ceramic bar at 1200 and silent shot at 920. The silent shot is for the doctor, which we don't quite have yet. And the bar isn't on the chart, but I presume Nah could rock it. And that was core fucking wrecked. It is a plus 20 over the steel bar. Huge jump. And I was happy about that.
Dude, did you double equip those?
I didn't. I wasn't doing it yet. I'll get there. Yeah. But I'm sure that also felt very good here.
Game changer.
Yes.
Game changer. When I learned that, I was like, wait a minute. Why?
We didn't learn it. Jab told us. But I also forgot when I came back to the game.
This was part of my
You forgot after I told you,
sadness.
Jesus.
Was like, hold on. Okay, who can rock a one hand? Wait, so she has a hand free.
No, yeah, when I thought to enact it and was reminded of it, yes, it sent me okay, time to do some inventory management. Time to totally switch my, whatever. Let's say the thing is mine. I think that might have actually been the specific catalyst for it, to be honest with you, of going to the charts. And the second I thought of that, and I was like, I'm really fucking taking a carving knife to my fucking whole battle system mechanic shit. I was like, I'm doing it fucking right from the ground up, and enacted the charts and started dual wielding. And it was night and day, night and fucking day for sure. Night and day. It turned fucking Net into a goddamn wrecking crew, man. Yes.
Right?
What's funny is I'm actually a little behind on this because having the experience previously where I didn't know who could wear what or do what, etc., and then having, then discovering dual wielding, it's for this playthrough, I honestly didn't really upgrade my gear because I didn't want to have to go through the fucking trouble of let me look this up real quick. So that's, remember when I said save states? God, that's a lot of save states.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like I said, we're not going to talk about Curie, but holy fuck did I partake in Curie on this for this run.
In Curie? What did you say?
Curie, yeah, is a town. It's another town in that southwest quadrant that we're not going to talk about today.
Okay, I'm like, I did not even come across that town.
Oh my God, yeah, it's on the map, so I'm not spoiling anything, but. Oh, well, fuck.
Oh, no. Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, when you guys get there, woo, buddy, it's a fucking nice fucking find.
I've got great stuff as is, and I feel like I'm wrecking. How
Jay,
could you give me more great
stuff? No, Jay.
Right
no, you do not.
What?
See, I got $40,000 right now.
That was the thing.
40,000.
Yeah, because Zima.
Fast forward thing, Jay. I'm trying to tell you, but no one fucking listens to me.
I wasted a little bit of money in Zima, but when I found Curie, dude, I was rolling with $30K, and I went in there and just emptied my pockets.
Just fucking came out.
Yep.
Yeah, dressed to the nines.
And then and there's great grinding over there too. So I also not only emptied my pockets, I hung around and maxed everything out with however much more money it was.
Oh, I feel like the next playthrough is going to be way better.
Right? I'm much more efficient. I'm like, all right, I need approximately $8K in total for all these things that I need to go to the bosses.
And then you do that and it's done.
Do that and then I go and I'm able to wreck everything. And then I'm like, I don't need to do anything more. Like next place, move on.
You guys know me. I don't take the next step till this step is fully planted on the ground.
I feel like I will say this. I can't even imagine being able to get more powerful stuff and be more OP right now. Because I didn't really have a problem. Like, with this approach, I am not having
the enemies between Zima and Roran are not really, they're kind of NBD. There is an uptick over by Curie that you'll feel and desire the upgrades to weaponry and armor, for sure. One in particular, well, whatever, we'll get there, of course, in the grind. But next is the Biosystems Lab. So... immediately inside here, there's another door the game suggests using dynamite on, and it's just like, I don't know, fuck off.
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect it to, like, you got the 2 the first time. I thought this too. You got the 2 the first time, used them, and I was like, okay, like, you know, every game has that sort. Sorry to make it all about Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has dynamite. You use it, and then it's done. And then this showed up, and I was like, oh fuck, again.
Yeah. Mix it up. Give me a little fucking variation here. They do, at least if you're gonna do the repeated thing, at least keep the cute part, and they do the safety considerations, step back from the door again, so that's cool. Yeah. Inside that is another maze that looks just like Shure and the Tower of Nido, and they, like I said, they do have some cool, albeit abundant, decoration that is new. There's these stasis tanks with octopus-looking creatures suspended in them, which are easily the coolest-looking thing we've seen in any of the dungeons or mazes or whatever so far.
They look like the Ithalids from BG3.
100%.
Like, surprisingly
100%.
so.
Yep. Or the heads of them, at least. I found some star mist in a chest on the second floor, and there is no trace of this in the manual. So I was kind of surprised that there were items that, you know, we are new. You know, they did mention it. The Algonians hearsay from fucking Opuda. They did mention it, but they're not in the manual. I tried it, and it heals everyone to max HP. No TP recovery though. So I'm guessing the other one probably does TP. What was this? Honeydew or
Moondew?
Moondew, yeah.
Moondew.
Honeydew.
What have you. And that was all I could pretty much accomplish on my first trip here. It was just too about it. So I had to do a Heinous Ryuka cycle, whisking me back to Paseo because I hadn't found a Puda, so I didn't have, you know, I hadn't changed my warp back point yet, so I get warped all the way back to Paseo for a visit with the doc there, and it was straight back to the lab. And on this route, or this time back, that's how I found a Puda. So it was actually a great thing that were the case, because I literally couldn't remember which way to go. I guess I didn't even notice there was a way to go that way. You know, a little bridge over to a Puda. So that was kind of a nice thing. And coming back the second time after finding a Puda and getting all the hot new shit, I found myself kind of just wandering aimlessly again. And this was at a 11-21-10 ratio. And I just still could not fucking get anywhere. And like, I don't know, it is just a serious runaround on this fucking joint, I guess, which we've kind of already covered, but
yeah, this place was tough, man. I came in here first just to try to get to grind, because I was still kind of outside, sometimes running into some harder stingers and enemies, but a lot of times not, and just like, all right, I'm just gonna go in there and grind a bit. So the first time I came in here, I was just grinding. And I was liking it, and, you know, it was fine, but it was still tough. Like you said, it was definitely an uptick in some enemies, and I was just like, man, what's going on? I got the Star Mist, but I didn't want to use it at all. I was like, I'm going to hold on to this. I actually need it because I'm going to need it. So I ended up grinding. The funny thing is, like, I got like, it was here that I also left and went back and bought Nay 2 Serum bars.
Okay.
So that she could dual wield that. So after that, she was able to like start destroying fools. So that was helpful. And then the funny thing also in here, once I left and came back and I was trying to get through and like, where am I going? Because it was fucking hard. I rediscovered, quote unquote, the fact that I could use tech in fights. I was never using, like, I had such strong weaponry, making sure I had, like, you know, the sword and the you know, whatever I needed, the top weapon that I could buy in a Puda, and dual wielding them and being able to fight, and it was strong. But then I was like, wait a minute, I have Giftboy, and I'm like striking people down with that, and so after that it was like, Oh, the whole game just kind of opened up here. Game changing moment. Like I don't know how
using the spells as well. I mean, I say that, but I don't use them very often either.
Yeah, same.
I'm usually pretty far ahead, and it's so fucked. But like, a lot of you make these. I want to call them business decisions just for the sake of comedy, but it's just like I don't want to deal with the menu. It's too much work.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just keep whacking and yes, it might cost me one turn, but fuck it. Yeah, it's just not worth it, So and they don't have enough of those, which is why I was like kind of like wanted to know if you guys noticed that with those amoebas, like they don't have those in these places. You don't have like a big boss battle, really. I think there was something that I'm still kind of unsure of. I'll be curious to see if you guys felt that way about it as well. In front of the Biosystems Lab goal as well, I got in a battle and I was like, is this about a boss battle too? I don't know. So it doesn't seem for sure like those exist. And that would be the situation usually in a Final Fantasy or even a Dragon Warrior where you're saving your MP or TP in this case, to use then, So you would at least have a reason to not use it, but we don't even have that here, I feel, and I still don't really bother with them.
So for me, because I started using deban as like the defensive spell.
Okay, so
when certain enemies.
Jay over here using buffs now too. This motherfucker.
Fuck.
This motherfucker loves.
To do it because like for me from Final Fantasy, buffs don't work, so that's a wasted turn, buddy.
Yeah.
No. They definitely work here.
Okay.
I've seen the difference. Like there are like Amy, who, obviously picking her up because she can use that kind of stuff. She gets more of those. Her abilities to be defensive is definitely helpful when I've come across like pinch chance and certain things that when I wasn't ready, didn't quite have the right gear yet, just got smacked and wasn't expecting like, oh my gosh, or like the level 2 or 3 amoebas, seeing those for the first time and kind of just taking things lackadaisical. Lackadaisically. Yes.
I can't believe I said it. Don't worry.
While I'm just kind of grinding, not paying attention, and just getting smacked in the face because I was like, unexpectedly a strong encounter. So yeah.
Huh. Jay's over here actually playing the fucking game.
Yeah.
I started using those, man. So I started really just looking at it by enemy. Like if I'm seeing the slug messes or the freaking mushrooms rolling 5 deep, I'm absolutely like giving myself defensive buffs. I'm pulling out
wait till you guys go
not
to
even
Curie.
Gifoy, but the second one where it does 80 damage. Okay. Like, yeah, I'm absolutely pulling that out because nothing else is doing that, hitting that.
Those mushrooms are fucked up, dude.
Right? Exactly. That's
if you guys haven't been over to Curie, those mushrooms are fucked up. Those mushrooms, the next
level 1 gear is just
those next level of the mushrooms are maybe my favorite sprite in the game. They're certainly in my. It's good to hear that you guys didn't steal them, man. The best year, my best year annals, they are. It's the hardest enemy in the game I've found so far.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah, the next the upgrade of the mushrooms are fucking wild. Dude.
Mushrooms are fucking hard, dude. I can't believe it's harder.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm coming back. Like I said, the second time also goes nowhere. So I go back to the dock. And I'm coming back in here on the third time, and I'm like, that's it. I got to figure it out. I got to grab my cartography tools out of my library locker, and I got to come in here, and I got to figure out a fucking way to map in this game, because I'm not ever going to get anywhere in this fucking place if I don't start mapping. And I like, took me a bit, and it's not a perfect system by any length, which really fucking kills my soul at times, but I basically came up with a system of equating a 2x2 square of tiles to 1 graph paper block. And it became calculable and scalable enough on 1 sheet of graph paper to work as a system. And I have to do like halvesies sometimes to make it work. Because sometimes like the way, again, it's just not fucking perfect the way this thing is. The way this game works. The grid of it. And that also kills my soul. But it's manageable both emotionally and artistically. So I was able to start mapping here. And, those, of course, I mapped this dungeon. And those are in our map archive. And I'll post them with the episode when it rolls out. But, yeah, it was fucking a huge necessity to
so
get.
Much work.
It was a ton of work. But it was, I cannot describe that part. Because the whole deal is here, you're trying, the catch really of this fucking dungeon is you have to fall down that far right pit in that room on the second floor with the cacophony of pits across of it. And then you have to, so you go down to a teleporter on one, and it's not the first one you see when you go through the floor there either. So you have to go to that one that goes up to the eastern half of the second floor where the teleporter to the third floor is. that you can then start working your way back down to the fucking basement, And
so you got to go up to go down. So you,
but not even. You had to go up, down, then up. It's fucking like multiple layers of that, and I don't know. At least my brain, anyways. Even with the I don't think honestly. Again, I don't think even with using the maps in the hint book that it would have worked for me. I needed to test them.
I just followed the maps in the hint book, and I was like, all right, I guess this is what we're doing. And
there was a couple times where you had to make a decision about which teleport or transporter or whatever to go in, or shoot, I think they're called. But generally, the hint book got me there closer than I mean, like I said, I tried to do it on my own, and the hint book got me. Well, it finished it, so there you go.
Yeah.
Up on that third floor, there's a nice surprise, in my opinion, of an easier tier of enemies, which I felt like was like a developer reprieve from getting my teeth kicked in on the first 2 floors. So that was nice. And after you wrap all the way around, clockwise here, you will find the door you got to blow to smithereens with the explosives. And behind that is the central pit they were talking about back in Apuda. So you hop on in and you fall down 3 floors to the basement, impressively taking no damage in the process.
Yeah, that's why I don't like that mechanic.
Yeah. And then here there are 4 corners that kind of spoke off the middle hub that you land in. The southwest one, is a short jerk-off runaround that takes you up to the first floor. And in this route, I'll be curious to hear if you guys did this, can even tantalize you into exiting the joint entirely. Ooh. Whereupon heading back inside, you'd have to do that whole thing again to get back down to the basement. And that is fucked up.
I totally
That's
did
evil.
that.
Okay,
You did that?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
No.
But I saved it.
I was going to say, did you have a save state?
I saved it before because I was like, because I was looking at the freaking strategy guide because I'm like, where am I going from here? Because I clearly hadn't gotten everything I needed to get. So I was like, let me just save it. And then I went and I left and I was like, fuck, yep.
I also was smart enough to have a save state, but on OG hardware, that had to be a real fucking kick in the nuts.
That's like, you know what? I'm fucking going to bed.
We're done.
Yeah. Yep. The southeast corner has the poison shot, and that's for the doc and the biologist, and I didn't have those yet. So when you see, the game gives you these little hints, maybe it's time to go back. You're getting these things that don't work for the characters you have, and I think that is kind of fun too.
I didn't even look at it that way, dude. I just said, my hunter already has the weapon he needs. I don't need that one. I'm not risking dying. I'm going a different direction.
Okay. Well, it doesn't. Well, the fucking map doesn't even. I guess maybe if you got the other things, you have no. That must be what it is. But like I said, check that. I remember now. That is why I went. I did not check that website or start looking for that website to cheat. Actually, even for the charts, I started looking for it because I had went through here. I had made my maps, and I didn't label which items were in which things. So I was just going back to the fucking hint book to do that, just to label my fucking maps like an anal retentive little twat, and I couldn't do that. And I was like, what the fuck kind of maps? I don't even tell you what the fucking things are.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, fucked up. But the screenshot maps on this website are, dude, it's Mike's RPG Center. It's fucking incredible. They are perfect screenshots, and everything is labeled in these really crude ass way. It's fun. They're beautiful. You're gonna love that website, Jab. Or if you maybe you already looked at it. I don't know.
Probably no, I haven't yet. No.
Yeah, it's Mike's RPG Center. You're gonna love it.
What's funny is this that reminds me real quick that you're saying it's literally Mike's RPG Center?
It might as well be.
Okay, I was like, that I turned you onto that. Don't try to take that. But anyways, to your point, the maps not having the things named or labeled on page 14 of the PDF that we have. Is it 14? Yeah, just 14. Whatever kid owned this had actually written in there. Dynamite,
oh, that's great.
20 Metestas and 100. So sometimes it does tell you. But also, I think that's the last time I saw him make a mark in here, so I'm not sure he made.
That's probably as far as he could get. Yeah,
after that.
Fucking Biosystems Lab. There you go, Marsh Cave.
Actually, Marsh Cave, exactly, literally.
Huge drop-off point. The northern 2 spokes are connected and take you through some real runaround bullshit that eventually leads to a big square sprite with some flashing lights on it that I guess kinda doesn't look like every fucking thing else in this maze in hindsight. Mm-hmm. But my first time through here, I did not think so.
No.
I assume that's what we were just talking about earlier, Jab, yes?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, correct, right, yes. I did not, I walked right past this thing, and I probably even went outside and came back, like, entirely didn't
God.
know to fucking interact with it. Yeah,
That's a lot.
Nothing about it spoke to me as, like, significant or needing to be inspected or what have you.
So what happened with me, I land in that center area, and then I was like, okay, I know the basement. I heard about this in the last town. Like, this is where I need to be.
Well, yeah, I knew the recorder had to be down here, but I fucking didn't know where it was.
What happened was, I had the same thing. I was like, I'm looking at the map because this game's fucking hard at this point. So I go to each star, and I'm like, well, one of these has to be the recorder. And it's not. And I head back up to the one, and I go all the way over. There's nothing there. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I guess what I'm getting at is, like, the first time I went up, I got the thing on the top left, and then I went over to the right, and there was nothing there. And I was like, well, then that's not right. And I died and went back. So save state, back to the center room. I go down, check everywhere, and it's not there either. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Finally make my way back up there. And to your point, okay, it does look different, but like...
yeah, exactly. Once which, you know, they probably want you doing that too, to literally exhaust all fucking options and then be like, your second time through, you're like, well, you just got to start fence testing then.
Yeah.
And, you know, you stumble into it. But, you know, I mean, this is the fucking mainframe! Your eyes will be drawn to it in real life. So don't give me that role play. You know, like, yeah. Yeah. So yes, you inspect it, you get the recorder, the whole reason we were down here, and then it was an immediate Highness Ryuka loop to get the fuck out of here. And I would hope you guys did the same. If you don't, that's where you come into the situation of that exit route in the southwest having purpose, but who the fuck is not using, you know? If you're the kind of person that's going to use all your MP, you're definitely toting the fucking items with you at this point in the game. Or if you don't use your spells,
smart about this.
Right? Exactly. Have a fucking way out. And I think
I was out. I think I was completely out of tech at that point because I was using the powerful. I was definitely measuring when to use the star mist to keep myself alive to get out of there. So
so you had to walk out. You're saying you didn't have the items either?
I'm pretty sure I had to walk
okay.
out.
Did you take that shortcut, or did you actually like go? Well, you can't go back up, I guess. Actually,
no, I
guess you
went
can't.
to the.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, so that's why it's there. Because there has to be. There'd be no way out.
Like other dungeons.
So now it is back to Paseo and the journey south, and from the lab, I mean. And when you go back to the central tower in Paseo, you walk inside and it says, "This must get to the governor." And he says, "Splendid work, Todd. I will immediately compare the recorder with the library data. I have always believed that Mother Brain is absolutely right all the time, and that our life is protected by Mother Brain. But under the reign of Mother Brain, we have turned into weak and lethargic beings. Under the circumstances, we cannot help realizing that fact. The data must be ready. You better get to the library." And the simple fact that he says Mother Brain that many times in succession tells me Sarge is long gone. Like, Sarge is fucking off the fucking rails. Like, he's like completely, brainwashed or something. Something's fucking off with him. You don't speak that way about anything. And then it cuts straight to the librarian, and she says, "Analysis on the recorder has been completed. The cause of the accident in the biosystems lab was an overload of energy poured into the system all at once. As a result, the creature made a rapid evolution. This creature does not fit into the cycle of nature, thus should not exist. And because this kind of creature was created, the natural cycles went out of order." And then this is when the fucking graph appears behind her, depicting a sharp spike in energy consumption. And yes, I like this graph a lot. She says, "Please look at this graph. It shows the amount of energy consumed in the last couple of years. Let's overlap the graphs of temperature and rainfall on it." And then these 3 line graphs then appear on the same chart with the temps skyrocketing and rain plummeting in correlation with the energy spike. And dude, it's good science. It's like accurately depicted science. And I was just like, oh my God, that's good.
Yeah. When she said, "Let's overlay the charts," I was like, they're not gonna.
They're not really gonna show me incredible science.
And like, I fucked with a lot of overlaid charts, and I was like, no way, and it actually doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so good, so good. And she further, she says, "As you see, the energy which was used by Climatrol to control the temperature and rainfall seems to have flowed into the biosystems lab. Biohazard could be something that was schemed up by someone. Please find out why the energy leaked from Climatrol. Also, if you are going south, take this with you. The bridge over the West River can be passed with this. Good luck." And then you have an item called the Key Tube, and you can actually, you can as with most games, you can go into your inventory and inspect them, and for this it says it is a metal pole 20 centimeters long with markings, and that's what she said. Journey south. There's that tube just south of the lab and west of the blue dam with the locked door inside, and I figured that was the joint to head to. Yep. You walk in here, and by this point I had finally, in my opinion, I should have done it much sooner, but I had moved Fook to the front line of my party order because fucking Todd was getting murked. He's not a frontline guy. Like it's just like weird. So counter to every fucking one of these quests to date that you're like first guy, whatever, the first fucking person or the guy you control is not like a tank that should be up front. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that is.
It's funny. I did the exact same around this time. Like once I went through there and hit the next town and I was grinding, I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. And I changed the order. Yeah. I did the exact same thing. I moved Hunters to the first, me second,
I actually put Todd third. I put Net because Net is a fucking melee character too.
Tanking it, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't. Well, my Net was getting hammered before, so that's why I moved Net to third.
Now her defense isn't great, but she's so far ahead in level that it kind of balanced out. And I don't know, for some reason, I feel like Todd, even in third ranked, he still gets targeted more than I feel he should relative to the other characters. So. Yeah, she's not nearly as big of a problem, so I was just trying to get him as far back as possible. And putting
great minds think alike, though. Yeah. Clearly, we were on the same wavelength. Like, nope, it's not working. Time to tweak some things.
So it wasn't Todd. It was Fook that puts the key tube inside in the tunnel or whatever, and that works. And looking at the southwest quadrant of the map, there are 2 towns down here. Mm-hmm. There is Zima. Phonetically just like the Crystal Pepsi of 90s malt beverages, but spelled with an E instead of an I. And then what I think says Curie on the map. And lastly, a joint that looks like a monument called Roran, southeast of Zima. So I started exploring, expecting a drastic uptick in enemies, but the first fight was 3 poisoners. So when you come through here, it's not even like some big difference, which I was saying. This whole area by Zima and Roran is not really a change. But Zima is almost impossible not to hit first. It's a little secluded enclosure just like Paseo, just outside of the tube leading to it. And that is where we will deal with first in our next segment. Zima. This is the nicest municipality yet, in my opinion. Has a bunch of rivers passing through it that give you that gorgeous Genesis water animation coloring that we have fawned over in the past, Jay. And it is by far more economically spaced than the first 3 towns. Everything is kind of very tightly put together.
I like to roleplay those as actual rivers of Zima.
Sure.
Sure, you're not even giving it to me. Like,
sure,
man.
Sure.
Okay.
Townsfolk chatter. In line with those observations, the Walmart greeter says this is Zima, a resort town by the lake. Plenty of Zima here at the local beverage outlet. As would be apropos of a vacation locale, retirees are everywhere. Some of their tedium. We used to play in the ocean on a jet scooter when we were young, so it's just fucking sitting on the porch thinking about the good old days, these fucking old people here. Mm-hmm. Another one says, people stopped using mobile machines after the teleport service was introduced, and that's another one, just sounding bitter about society having embraced a lower carbon footprint. Like, okay, boomer.
Like, people stopped moving once you could teleport. They just stopped moving around.
And there are a number of them that give you an identical what the ... question mark. Right? So these peeps are just in
weird.
Yeah, they're just in full scale dementia. These old people. And then there's a few others that can't even get that far. They just have a what question mark. And that one, at first I'm like, okay, just more dementia. But then I'm like, well, maybe, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and just think they're going deaf. They just, what?
Just never mind, sir. Just never mind.
Right, yeah.
Keep going that way.
That's when Todd realizes this is not worth it. What could they possibly have to say?
The young folk are more topical, just like in real life. A few of them say, have you been to the Southern Peninsula? That area smells terrible because of the garbage smell from Roran. Another one, I remember seeing Moda people playing on a mobile machine. And another one says, Moda people make anything from junk, and Moda people is only a hop, skip, and a jump away from you people, in my opinion.
Well, of course there, isn't it?
Are we not on Moda? What do you mean? Right now? What are you saying?
Right.
What do you mean, Moda people?
And Moda people love the garbage dump in Roron, and around the middle of the lake, there's a tower where nobody has ever been. And it's pretty obvious the POI compass is pointing towards Roron after chatting up all these damn kids. All the commerce is available, as you'd expect of a resort, and I had something like this. I had like 28 large, coming in here, burning a hole in my pocket. So I actually, spent a bunch here. I was thinking it was Curie, but I guess not. And the heal at the Quack's office runs you 60 Meseta on another stop in when I needed very little healing, but I'm baller as fuck, so did it anyways. The price was only 40. So I'm curious if you guys have been able to glean what the math is for these healing fucking things. Like, my only hypothesis is it's it's less if you don't need technique replenished, but the price changed. Like I said, the price changed on me. I didn't have more or less people. I don't have an explanation for why it would have been different.
It was 80 for me. Like I've been
well, there you go.
80. 60 and 80 are the last prices I remember. Like,
I guess maybe you could say. Maybe you had 8. Maybe you had a fourth character, and maybe it's 20 per head. I don't know.
Ooh, very possible. Very possible.
Yeah, if that 60s and 80s popping up. Yeah,
right. That would at least math out. I don't know why. I never would have had less than 3 coming in here, so I don't know why I've been 40. Maybe one of them didn't need heal.
Maybe.
I'm definitely not dead. I wouldn't go to the healer.
That doesn't make any sense at all. You're right.
You would
without
clone first.
Right. See, I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe one of them was full, and they are kind enough to not waste.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. I would also be surprised, but that's the only explanation I can fucking come up with.
I got the game up. I could probably.
I remember paying 60 and being glad that it wasn't 80, and just being like, okay.
Being glad it wasn't 80. I can't believe you follow pennies like that. These are rounding errors in my finances.
I'm efficient when it comes to the grind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The gear shop is loaded up with hot shit. The titanium gear and metal are here, 1,400 and 3,700 respectively. Both are helmets, but only Todd and the Wrecker, which is a dope class name, by the way, can use that one. And we don't have the Wrecker yet, or I didn't. And everyone but Neh can rock the gear. And gear is a +6 over the fiber, and metal is a +2 bump over that. And then we can finally sort out our footwear situation here. They have shoes and boots. And everyone but Neh can step up to the boots, and those are +4 over the shoes. Fiber ML for the... Again, I still don't know what that might mean.
Right.
But that is for the dock, and that's 1360, and that's a +10 over carbon ML. And the mirror shield is 4,800. It's not in the chart, so you got to kind of just fence test if you haven't got your chart shit sorted out yet and find out who can rock it. And Todd can. It was a +17 over the fiber shield, so I was thrilled to be spending that money in this moment. That would soon change.
Oof. That's a good amount of chunk.
I'm still not shielding after this point. I'm like two-hand weapon.
I'm afraid of all items in this game.
Well, that's the smart decision, Jay. I hadn't gotten there yet. The armor is equally as loaded. The whip is 1,400, and that is a Guardian only. So again, seeing that in the shop, I was like, Guardian must be on the horizon here. There is the ceramic sword for 3,200, and that's a Todd only, 2-handed. And I had just bought that mirror shield, so I was like, no way, Jose, on that front.
Oh, I picked that ceramic sword up quickly. Like, yes, let's rock.
I probably would have if I hadn't bought the shield. I probably would have. But
I'm looking forward to it because I can't remember what the first weapon that I had for Jab was.
Well, that dagger, you get the ceramic dagger is great. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, either way, when I got the sword, I noticed a huge uptick. So I'm assuming that the next level of sword offers a similar uptick.
Ceramic sword is 60 attack, so that is way better. Like
as opposed to, do you happen to know?
36.
Ooh,
right. It's almost
basically double.
Yeah. There is the slasher at 2,000, and that is also Guardian only. So there'll be some decisions to make after that party edition, I guess. And the laser knife is 4,400, and this is not in the chart, but everyone other than Neh can use the first 2 knives, so I figured same applies here. And I would gave the doc plus 13 attack. I had gotten the doc by the time I was doing this, and gave her plus 13 attack and a plus 5 defense to rock with over the poison shot, so I was curious if I should roll with that. So I went out and fence tested, and she was definitely doing 14 to 16 with the knife, which was more than the 10ish the poison shot was doing. So I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting very close to learning that dual wielding knives is the best thing to do in this game.
Dude.
We'll get there when I talk about later in the game, but that blew my mind once I got into the charts.
Dude, I right now started dual wielding right here, grinded laser knives for her. And she's just all of a sudden.
Not just for her, Jay, for everyone.
For everyone,
we will. I will get there, and
this is
fully...
also very easy math to do. So if you didn't do it, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was. It's. I don't know. It kind of sucks. I think, to be honest with you,
it only comes out slightly more than.
Where's my calculator? Because I want to do some math too.
Saram sword.
Yeah, but more nonetheless.
But more. Yeah. More.
And yeah, it's a +8 attack and +2 defense over the ceramic shiv, which is what Todd was rolling at this point. So those are good to acquire. There's a cannon at 2200, and this is the Hunter and Wrecker, still two-handed. It's a +16 over Fuchs shotgun. So again, I wasted money on this before I learned that what I should be doing with that character, and got him that. And the Glam Band Dude also has the poison shot for the dock here, if you didn't canvas the lab enough thoroughly to have gotten that while you were there. And after all was said and done and doing the garage sale for the old shit, I'd spent 20 grand just going through making bad decisions.
20 grand?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yep.
I'm so glad I have trust issues.
But, right? Like, the crazy thing is, like, I did not spend that much. I'm kicking butt. But, like, as we're talking, I'm like, if I dual wielded with everybody, I don't know if that would be as fun, but I'm already feeling like I'm wrecking stuff. That would be...
I promise you it's just as fun, Jay, because it doesn't look particularly different in the animations, and it doesn't hurt you on the defensive side because you're murking shit.
Yeah. I've already made like...
And those add some defense, too, so it's not even like a total wash on the defensive
defense is
plus
key.
Of the shield.
That's such a fucking cool feature of this game, by the way. That's a really good observation. Like,
especially if you're dual wielding, like you would develop parrying tactics.
Right.
That, yeah, it's great. Yeah, I concur.
Though I will say this is the consequence of advanced statistical data analysis, and it's just like everything that does those things, like football, baseball, and now also video games, like it just kind of all devolves down to like the same style of play, which kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So Jay, you don't have to dual wield if you don't want to.
Well, no,
it's a role-playing game.
I don't know when the laser sword happens, but that would be better than 2 laser.
Well, I'm just rocking a laser sword because it's cooler.
We'll see.
It's not better than dual wielding them, though, Jay.
Well,
who cares? It's cool
because the laser sword would be 100
cool,
attack, whereas like 2 laser knives would be 38 times 2, 76. So it'd be way better. And 18.
So I had the laser. I guess maybe I got to look into my thing.
Laser sword, which is not here.
It looks like
I'm
its
just
math
saying.
is falling
I just see it
apart.
on the
just
chart.
down
I
the
don't know
line.
when we get that.
Yeah,
I don't know when we get that. But.
Okay, well, that's all I really did in Zima. I don't know if you guys have anything else there that you thought of note, or do you want to move on?
No, I just grabbed everything. Grabbed the sword, the laser knives, like I said. So I'm dual wielding laser knives. Grabbed the Saram sword for Jay. All the Titan gear and Titan mets and stuff. So I was like, let's
Tighten
go.
up.
Yep.
Tighten up. Tighten up. Hashtag tighten up.
Hashtag tighten up.
The only other thing to do for our purposes of the stopping point is Roran. You can go west of here. I'm surprised you guys didn't check it out. And there's a town over there and some other shit to kind of learn and what have you. We will deal with Curie and that area in the next episode, though, just because we've already done 2 towns for this one. So let us discuss Roran. And it is right there, south of Zima, on a small peninsula. The sprite for it, which is kind of cool, looks a little different than the other POI sprites we have seen. It appears to maybe be a factory with 2 cute little smokestacks on it. So you go in here, and you get your first, you walk in, it's just like one of those just a little room with nowhere to go, but just right up, it's very tiny, it's all on the one screen. So you walk in, probably anyways, just going to go right up in that, to be discussed later, the other options here, but that's certainly what I did when I first came in. So I go up on the second floor, and up here you're almost immediately presented with a chest that when you open it, It reads, "It's full of garbage," and I read that to myself, dudes, and I was just like, "Fucking every RPG ever." It's like just like the greatest fucking RPG meme ever is to fucking the screenshot that it's full of garbage. And there are also a bunch of set pieces up here that I only perceived, like, at first I saw them and I was like, they're just bullshit, but I eventually would understand that they're trash bins. And those are kind of, it's kind of developing the trend, I guess, that every one of these dungeons is going to have this one sprite that is, like, unique to it, but overused immensely.
That's how they define its purpose. So
right.
Their motifs were only, so diverse, so
sure.
They do what they had to do.
So in here, you can work back down to another part of the first floor, and then that mini entrance area. And there's a number of those cat druids where we saw them in the town, and they're just down here just rooting around through the trash, I guess.
They love garbage.
Right, correct, yeah. The one says,
Whoa, Jay, Jesus.
That's what they said.
That's what they say, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, someone else said it. It's not my perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
I literally said that over and over and over.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of garbage I'm going to find today. I love the smell of garbage. I love collecting garbage. And that's kind of the order you encounter them in, too. And I like how there's a progression of expressing their obsession with the garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was kind of role-playing them as, like, the workers of the facility.
Sure.
Like, slaves is probably a strong term, but, like, this is their role in life. Like, that's what you do. You manage the shitty garbage jobs.
Sure. The basement has another chest full of garbage and a cat druid here that mixes up his subject matter a bit. He says, "Hey," or it says, I guess you don't know, "Hey, I found some tasty cake. Won't you try some?" And you can say yes or no to this. If you say no, it says Todd and the others respectfully decline the offer. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, I love it. Here at the garbage storage building, some cake? Like, no, I'm all set, homie.
I actually just ate before I came in, man.
Yeah, I'm all good. But you do have the option of eating this cake too. And it reads, Todd and the others ate the cake, rather. It says, "It tastes funny. Their stomachs started making strange sounds." And then everyone just loses 10 HP. So it's like, it's only like a mildly punitive thing, But
I didn't go back and do it, yeah.
Yeah,
I did not want garbage cake.
Right. But I thought that pretty fun that it's just like, I don't know, just a random event that is only mildly punitive.
But it does help set the scene, this is a dirty place.
Yep. Yeah, I expected to die, though.
True.
I ate some pizza out of the garbage once, and I was on my ass for a day. So probably like a 10 HP thing. Yeah.
So yeah, that is all I could really find in my initial sweep of this place, and it's not big enough to map. Like, I could from memory know that I missed nothing. I even recanvassed it a couple times. I think a time or two, just going back to the door, and I found. There's a ceramic bar in one place, another chest full of garbage, but I didn't find any POIs of significance. So then I'm just meandering around this place, hoping to find some shit I missed, and that's when I started fucking just fence testing all the trash bins. So I check every single trash bin in this joint, every single one of them, and those fucking little. You find those other two dudes that are fucking hinting at finding something appealing in the garbage, and I was like just confident that had to be what we're supposed to do here. We're supposed to dig through the trash with them and find the thing, And yeah, so that's when I decided I needed. It wasn't exactly what you needed to do, but the way I got my doctor over in the biosystems lab part of our story here, I still wasn't entirely sure whether getting the doctor was necessary to get that recorder from the mainframe. Wow, you know what I mean?
Very deep into
right. Yeah. So I thought that was my problem here, that I couldn't find the shit because I needed the doctor, or she was somehow or not doctor, but some sort of new character to functionally finish this place. So yeah. So I leave and go check my fucking hero classified ads back at the pad, and coming back from that, I walk into the place. And I noticed how much black space there was.
Yes, I was going to say, there's a hint here.
Right, around that room. And I was like, maybe I should go out there and fucking whatever. And sure enough, you walk out there and you don't exit when you do so. And you can, Sons of Tantagel walk down to another room with another teleporter. And dun 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 That's fucking how you move on in this fucking place. And
Yeah. Well, when you walk in, like when you enter, like you go into Roran. Can't
Sure.
read, turns out. When you are like walking into that room, you are on black spaces.
Right. That's another cue.
So like that was the
cue
first
as well.
thing I was like, I know what's going on here.
Yeah. So your first time in, or did you?
Was it what?
Was it your first time in that you gleaned this and checked, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was like if I'm walking on black spaces, I was like, because I went down, I checked the level, and like you said, I found some shit, but nothing special. And then I was like, oh yeah, like it's got to be the black space around, and sure enough, you can walk.
Okay. So you did go straight into that teleporter though, and then come back. You didn't immediately walk down to the second teleporter. Okay.
No.
I was about to say, I'm like, it looked like it was telling you to go there. So I did the same thing. I'm walking around, searching things, and I was like, and I also fins test these dungeons every time first, just to see how strong I am. So I was feeling bold too. I don't map, so I was feeling bold, just going through, grabbing everything, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no, it's not hard. It's not. Yeah, I was not worried about the enemies.
What are we doing?
Which is why I was literally checking every fucking trash bin. I'm like, no big deal.
So I looked at the strategy guide, and they were like, check the two dungeons. I'm like, what do you mean two? What do you mean two dungeons? What are we talking about? So then I looked at the map again, and I was like, or the strategy guy more close. I'm like, wait a minute.
Another room. Okay.
If I didn't have the strategy guide, I'd be screwed right now. Like,
yeah, you crafty sons of bitches. You got
I feel like you could have found that though. Like because I was just scrolling down using the strategy guide as I needed.
Like I said, I didn't get to the strategy guide. I almost got to the strategy guide, but I did not quite get to it here. I will for Roran, but not here. So yeah, so you find that second room. There's a teleporter in there that takes you to a whole new wander. But again, it wasn't elaborate enough to warrant mapping, in my view. And you find a cannon. So I wasted my money on the fucking cannon back in fucking Zima, which sucked. Ugh.
Same.
And there's some more garbage, and then a chest that's seemingly like, the way it's positioned down there, I assumed it had significance to it, just walking up to it. And there's like those two cat druids on each side of it. The one says, hey, look, I made this jet scooter. It's something, isn't it? And then the other one says, I think I'm going to try and ride this over the ocean. If you like, you can come watch. And then I'm expecting, after reading those, to open the chest and get a scooter.
Yes.
You do not get a scooter. Nothing. Just bullshit in there. Yeah, more garbage. So, again, not a lot of fucking places to wander around down here, but I do so, check everything, up and down, blah, 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 can't fucking figure it out. And this is where I was like, what the fuck, man? And just went to the fucking hint book. And yes, you have to leave the facility.
Yeah.
And it's outside on the beach. And I just, I guess eventually.
That's so frustrating.
Right. Eventually, I might have just given up. If you have no choice, you're playing OG hardware, you're not on the hint book. You're eventually just going to do it. And then sure. But I wasn't going to leave this place without the fucking scooter. So, yeah.
Exactly.
It was a little frustrating for sure, to say the least.
There was no real indication that they were like, here, like, have it. Or, like, here, like, it's for you, or it'll be there. It's just, like, you just gotta leave.
Yep.
Yeah, and it says that, it says as much in the strategy guide, and, like, I was like, oh, fuck, like, okay, so I kind of figured it out, and then it occurred to me that, like, there are multiple of those cat people that you might misconstrue for the one, like, the way that it's written in the hint book, I was like, oh, you could easily talk to one of these and then leave, and it's not there.
Right.
And, like, now you just gotta do the whole fucking thing again, like... Yeah, I was a little confused by the entire affair.
But to me, that's just a terrible design. Like, if you know by this point, people are going to be carrying escape pipe, telepipe. They're going to have Ryuka Highness. They're going to be able to get out of the dungeon when you want to. But, like, you don't want to leave if you don't get what you want.
If you don't have your quest item, I'm not leaving the
like,
POI until I have my quest item.
Exactly. Like, what are we doing here? Like, that to me was just a terrible design. Terrible design.
And even the way that they conveyed the information to you was just, like, poorly written. It's like, you have no fucking clue what's going on, and, like, what would it have taken? More writing effort? I don't know. There's got to be a way, like, you get the... I mean, this would be stupid to do it, but, like, it could be, like, you get the scooter key. Like, there you go. Now you know you've got it. But, yeah, you just got to leave.
Yep. And yes, it's out there just lying on the beach. It's like fucking one of those goddamn Uber scooters just left wherever.
or give us an exit, like, or at least give us an exit right there, so that when I look around and realize there's nothing, I'm like, all right, if there's an exit, maybe that tells me. But, like, just knowing I might not have just found it yet because I'm in this dungeon. If I'm not staring at strategy guides, I'm just I'm still going to keep looking around. I don't know.
Yeah, what's
if I'm
the
done.
exact line like that dialogue? I think I'm going to try and
crazy.
ride this over the ocean. If you like, you can come watch.
Yeah.
Hey, I made this jet scooter or something like that. Yeah, I mean,
That's not.
yeah,
really, no.
yeah, exactly. It's so close. It's like it's the person who writes that.
If he walked out of an exit and which beckoned me to follow him at that point,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, like follow me. Let's go.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say if you're sitting there arguing with the writer, they're going to be able to make an argument that makes this fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which
By-
is maddening right now.
Right. Yeah, right. But it could be certainly better. And yes, I think the exact tweak it. Like he says, I think I'm going to try and ride this over the ocean. Not like we're going to go down to he should say something akin to we're going to go down to the beach and try to ride this around the ocean. Like give you the exact place where they're going to do it.
Or come check me out. At least be more descriptive with the come and check me out. Come and watch me.
Yeah.
Instead of like if you want like you're just saying a phrase, you know.
Here's a great
like I
idea.
said,
Like they could have included like a little like empty dock right there.
Something, yeah.
That like when you
Yeah.
go in, you don't see anything there, and then
Right.
you do the whole rigmarole.
Yeah,
you
that's
walk
probably
out the door.
that might be the biggest thing about it is that it is in just a nondescript place. There should be that would be a great solution too. Yeah, just for them to be something to draw your eye there, where it or yeah, even like I mean, interactable. I think it should have been really where you could go into the dock and then it's like one of these fucking other POIs that like opens up like a little area that would have been empty when you were coming up to it, and you would have checked that. It would have been empty on your way here. And you're like, when you like, oh, maybe I got to go check there at least. It's like something that was empty before.
Yeah.
And now something could be going on there
Correct.
after the fact. So
I think I spent like 20, 30 minutes on this last night, and I stayed up way too late finishing this up. And I have final shit to be doing, and I'm not doing it. And it occurred to me that I had spent like 20 minutes chasing around this dungeon trying to figure out the same thing. And it's fucking nope. You just gotta go.
Yep, it was frustrating for sure. But it is just lying there on the beach when you walk out. And you walk up to this thing, inspect it, and it reads, I wonder where those Moda people went. Aha! There's a note attached. I love the idea they would like leave this note on it. Like the free TV take, Like
Windshield wiper.
yeah, it works. Yeah, the note reads, we love going through garbage itself, so we don't need this. That doesn't make any fucking sense, but whatever. Right. Anyone can have it. Then Todd's on a monologue chimes in, and he says, hey, how lucky I am. Let's get on the jet scooter. Before we get rolling on our Bestiary Annals, there's a huge development, as aforementioned, on the websites of Antiquity front. I found Mike's RPG Center. It's Rustic World Wide Web Phantasy Star companion piece is what I'm going to call it. It is Phantasy Star Cave, pscave.com. So add that to your Netscape Navigator bookmarks, Lord Disciples. Link is in the show notes. And I found it when looking for the chest contents is what got me to it. But it has really clean fucking screenshots that are labeled, and it's a fucking great website. And just the aesthetic of it is 100% fucking 1997 GeoCities. It's fucking great.
Yeah, this is great, actually. I love this.
So, do I want to go first? Jay, I'll let you go first. I don't think you're gonna take my first one.
All right, the first one I'm gonna go with is the most unique sprite / enemy that I fought the whole playthrough. I only encountered this guy once, and I was like, "Oh snap, that's different." I took a screenshot, and that would be the Rotwood. Apparently, you only meet this one mainly in Roran, which is where I ran into it once. I thought it was like a boss kind of character at first because it was so unique. And it has 50 HP.
These are the trees, right there. Is that?
No. This is like the big blue enemy. It looks like it has like a stick in its hand, and it's just like swinging it.
Okay.
But it looks like a giant, I don't even know what you call it, just like a giant two-legged, two-armed beast. I don't even know.
Biomonster.
Yeah. maybe literally rotten wood, like turned somehow legs and arms. But
I like that.
Yeah. It wasn't as difficult to defeat as I thought it would be. But it has 50 HP, 141 XP, and you get 167 Meseta from defeating it. But apparently that's also just the level 1 iteration of it. So
We're going to get harder ones.
More to come.
Yeah.
More to come. Okay, well, my first one are the Hit Tails. And these are fucking Reapers! These are Reapers!
Yes, that's why I was doing it, you dick.
Yeah. That's why I went first.
So that's the one I was like, I know I got one.
I wasn't going to let you steal it.
Yeah,
I literally gasped and said the word out loud the first time they popped on my screen. Like, I was sitting on my couch alone. It popped on my screen, and I said, Reapers! Yeah, you first see these in and around the Biosystems lab, so that's probably where they should be. And yes, they just, their tails are constantly, like their idle animation is their tails constantly flailing around, and they have that kind of hammerhead shark a little bit head thing going on that is, yes, of course, Reapery. And yeah, very cool sprite. And we actually got later on the second iteration of those get presented to us too, maybe in Roron or something. So we get a couple of these iterations here.
They're pretty diesel too, actually.
Yep. No, I mean, like I said, they're part of that. Like I mentioned, when you're getting around the Biosystems lab, that's part of that uptick is these things for sure. Mm-hmm. By the numbers, they have 22 HP, 49 XP, and 88 Meseta as a reward. Jab.
It was gonna be Hit Tail, but I had to go with number 2, which actually blasted my ass a couple times. The Blaster.
Okay.
Those
are the cell-looking ones, right?
Yeah, they're like cell-looking critters with like.
Or no, are they like the bulbous mass deal?
Yeah, the like pulsating mass of bulbs or something. Yeah, and they're
the second level of those, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were the ones that like when I died in what was the blank on the set here. When I died in the Tower of Nido, no, not Nido. I'm thinking Biosystems Lab. Yeah, on the 4th floor in the basement. That's where they are. When I died in there, it was because of these fucking things. Or excuse me, they are Nido Tower. My bad. Anyways, yeah, they've got 52 hit points, 62 experience. They give 60 Meseta, but there's a note that says can perform a powerful attack against the entire party, and boy can they.
Okay. I don't think I noticed that they could do a fucking AoE attack. Yeah, I'm not sure I've
that's
noticed
a fucking
AoE, yeah.
I should have bought some armor.
If you let them live, yep.
Word? Jay, what's your second?
Second one for me would be the Slug Mess, the level 3
That's a good one.
version of the amoeba. And these bad boys kick my ass over and over if you're not ready. Like, these are the guys, when I see them, it's like, all right, using like level
gotta get serious.
80.
Well, that spawning shit, that spawning shit is fucking wild, man. That's,
right.
There's, first time you see that in any of these games, like, oh, fuck.
Well, even like the jelly, the first time I saw the jelly, which is the tier 2 one, like it came out of nowhere and killed me because I was grinding, wasn't paying attention, and 3 of these popped up along with 2 mushrooms or something, and it just worked me. And I was like, oh snap! So every time I see them, whenever I see the Slug Mess, I'm like paying attention. But by the numbers, yeah, at 96 HP, you get 231 XP and 218 Meseta for defeating them. So pretty lucrative. Solid,
yeah. That's fucking even. I'm surprised to hear that there is something with more HP than my second one, which are the head rots, and this is the thing I was talking about that are the next level of the mushrooms. So these things, dude, it's such a cool sprite. So
that is good.
Yes, the mushrooms have latched on to Carry-On's heads, which are like the kind of the crabby looking things.
Oh yeah.
Presumably controlling them like cordyceps style, and it looks so fucking cool, and it is just an awesome role play. The attack animation, so the mushroom pulls the Carry-On skull up, and the brain is pulsing as the attack animation inside of their head still. It is just so fucking cool.
Damn.
The coolest one to date by a margin, in my opinion.
The animators brought on that one, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't even know the mushroom was the second level of carrier. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Before. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. So yes, you get a dump truck of loot for fragging them too, relative to the rest of the options in the Southwest Quadrant offerings. And the only place I could find them was they're right on the coastline, west of Curie, that town to the west on the map. And yeah, they're fucking like when I was just grinding to buy all the shit in Curie, I was just over there just hoping to meet these things.
Yeah,
Constantly.
you find those, right?
You get like I think it's groups of 3 or 4 of them, and yeah, I mean, it's fucking. You got to pay attention. You can get fucking. I definitely got killed fucking around over there, especially once I got that doctor, and she has way lower HP. They can fucking drop your ass, so they're tough as fuck. But by the numbers, 95 HP, so only 1 click behind those slug messes, but 311 XP and 254 Meseta. So just the best grinding option by a mile that I found in this run of play for sure. Jab, hit us.
I got the Insecta. You find them in and around Roran. God, I sound stupid when I say that. You find them in and around there, and really, they're not a super special enemy. They're just kind of fodder, but they have a great sprite, so that's what got them the number 2 spot. 60 HP, 111 XP, and 139 Meseta for the trouble.
Wrap it up, Jay.
Decent. Yeah, for me, the last one, which also was something that I have to pay attention to whenever I see it, the Kite Dragon.
I'll pick something else.
I mean, it's a giant tree-looking sprite that will kick your behind.
Which is wild to call that sprite a dragon. Is wild.
Yeah.
Right? It just looks like a tree to me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the level 3 is called Forest, so that makes sense. But like the first one, odd name. But yeah, it has 113 HP. You get 349 XP and 475 Meseta. So when I usually see them in pairs of 2. So that's nice. Nice when
I didn't realize that they were that fucking rewarding.
Yeah.
Shit. My last one are the Fangs, and these are Dune Worms. I've never seen Dune. I'm not going to watch either of these new ones, but Dune Worms are cool. And I love their gyrating idle animation. And whatever, like when they attack, they shoot this fucking blue tripod projectile thing out of their tail when they attack. That looks pretty cool as well. These are milling in and around Roran as far as their locale goes. And by the numbers, 46 HP, 137 XP, 144 Meseta. Nothing special there, but just, the sprite was cool to me. Jab?
The other thing that kicked my ass a lot then, Mushroom. And it kind of already got mentioned with the head rot a little bit, but not in detail. Looking at it here, it has no special attacks, which, I don't know. I felt like I always got my ass whipped by them. Maybe they're just really strong. But yeah, I do like the... it's a cool sprite in and of itself. And it's cool to have, like, just the idea of, like, a mushroom that's, like, a thing. But then you come to find out later, it turns out, that it's a parasite and blah, blah, blah. And, like, I don't know. It's just, like, really subtle, like, build on...
Well, yeah, that's part of the head rot appeal, too, is that it's, like, it gives, like, I don't know, this, some story development, even in, like I don't know, background story development of, like, these bio monsters are even, like,
mutating
each other.
And yes, parasitically fucking enhancing each other, and it's really fucking cool.
And it makes it really menacing and like retroactively menacing, because it's like, oh, I was like fighting these mushrooms and like, who knows?
Right.
And then you find
they could have got me. They could have done this to me.
Right.
Yeah,
in fact, they
really
did
cool.
get me several times. That's what they did.
Yes.
So yeah,
in that parallel unsave state loaded universe, your character is just walking around with that doing that fucking thing where it's ripping its head off and its brain is pulsing.
The whole fucking party's walking out there somewhere.
Yeah.
God, that's just morbid to think about. Yeah, so they've got 54 HP, non-remarkable turns out, 101 XP, and 124 Meseta for your trouble.
Fucking A. That segment of Best Your Annals is brought to us by your mom. Tales of the Grind is next. And before we get into that, quick random happening. I clocked... when I hadn't noticed until in that whole first episode of play that your statuses for your party when poison or whatever, like, they have little fucking things that appear on the battle screen, Yeah. And when you fall asleep, it just says a few Z's next to the HP, and I thought that was pretty fun.
Like, we could kind of spell out sleep, or you could do SLEP or
right.
ZZZZ.
Yeah, which is pretty fun. And yeah, like it's also, and that's kind of, it's not quite iconography, but like the poison one is just a skull and crossbones, which is also fun, as opposed to POI or whatever the fuck it would be, you know, which like Final Fantasy, for example, uses just a few dumb letters. So I just thought that was, you know, subtle menu, story building, whatever stuff that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So before we get into our just kind of wandering around thing, I guess I should ask maybe, what did you guys, we haven't, you know, I tried to avoid it because we'll talk about it in concentration here, but what did you guys at our stopping point have as far as your full party roster goes?
4 people. So I have myself, Nay, my hunter, and then Amy. I ran across another person when I got home, but like
I mean totally met, not just in your party.
Oh yeah. I met another dude, like a botanist or something, biologist or something, like back at the house. But when I realized I couldn't bring him too, I was like, I'm not bringing you. You're lower level. Like if he came over and been like level 10 to start off, then I might.
That is the interesting thing when you get them. They don't come with starter packs or anything. Yeah, like they come totally neophyte, and that is an interesting choice for sure. It is. I noticed with all of them, actually. I was going to specifically say the doctor because she was more solo for me as far as an acquisition and like kind of figuring out how this system worked. But they do catch up quick, you know, because they found a way to do the leveling tiering in a way where when you get a character after other characters, they catch up so fast. So it's like scaled per level needed, or per level XP needed, is done in with some relatively intelligent design, I feel, to kind of get them up to speed quicker than I anticipated they would. So that is the nice thing, I think.
I also feel like I hit the flow though, like where I didn't need to add anybody else. Like I was finally rocking and rolling with the 4.
Those two are a little bit, yeah. The botanist and the fucking doctor are a little bit. Not even a little bit, pretty redundant. They definitely have different stuff, and we're going to get into each one of them, of course, but there is a little bit of redundancy to them, I think, that is kind of just different strokes for different folks. So you're not missing a huge thing by not bringing him along, I don't think.
Yeah, that's the thing, is because like, you have to kind of commit to it a little bit. Like, you can't just like put him in your party and be like, oh, like he's got some pretty dope shit. It's like, I got to go level and explore all that. So
right.
I didn't bother with it at all. I, too, got both the botanist and the... Oh, wait, hold on. We didn't even get there yet.
Well, no, I asked, what did you finish your party out at? Or what did your roster finish out at before we get into each one?
Yeah, I got the 3 previous, and then I got doctor, botanist, and I think some new chick.
Guardian. That's the
Guardian.
Yeah.
Okay, it was like 3 a.m. I was going to bed, so...
Okay. Copy that. So, I got the doc as... around when I was, like I said, I left the biosystems lab on a failed attempt and went back and got her, thinking I needed her. So, when did you guys actually get her? Same thing, around the biosystems lab, or was it later? So I'm kind of curious to know, like, what... I still don't know exact catalyst for these, I guess, is really what I'm trying to zero in on here.
I have no idea either. After the last place, I went back and got, you know, the last person, so I don't know when I don't know if you're supposed to just go after you every time you beat a dungeon, or like I don't know.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think it's just my hypothesis is that they are gate kept by just going places. Like once you kind of just, well, I don't know if that's true, because Jab, if you never went, I assumed, because I had a very interesting.
I never went to that one town that you went to. So
exactly. So yeah, I assumed that was part of the factoring into this, is that I had went there because I got further than all you guys. I also got the Wrecker. I got the Guardian and the Wrecker and the Botanist and the Doctor. So I am just missing one, which the chart labels as the Thief. So
well, we got more characters. we got more characters than dungeons or things accomplished, I think. I guess maybe not. I mean, if
it's because you have the Tube, you have Zima, you have Curie. Although, like I said, that's clearly not a factor. Although you guys didn't get the Wrecker, so maybe it is. Come to think of it,
and here's the thing: it might not always be a factor,
right? And here's the thing too: we don't know, because I got all 3 of my characters besides the Doctor in one visit back to Paseo, which I'll talk about how that went in a second. But yes, like it blew my fucking mind.
You just had a fucking bunch of people waiting in your house.
Yeah,
Like,
so they can
maybe
just stack up if you haven't went and claimed them, you know?
Maybe you like grinded to a certain level and went back, and
That could be it as well, yeah.
You know, like you hit level 20, therefore you get these 3 people. You know?
That would make a lot of sense, like, to drive the narrative and, like, you know, push you onward in the game. Yeah.
Well, I think it would. Although the way it's so jumbled, it kind of negates that idea. I think it would make more sense to be gatekept by going places so it would avoid people who overgrind like me getting more characters.
That's true.
When
Like,
narratively
the problem,
it
right?
doesn't exactly make sense.
I feel it might be I think it's location because you go. I mean, what did I do? I went back to Paseo for some reason.
Well, here, let's do this right now then. Both you guys, or one of you guys, I guess it doesn't matter. Both of you, Chad, you're good at doing this. Go back to Paseo and see if you have the wrecker waiting, and we'll kind of get an idea of this. I think we still won't know until we compare levels, I guess. But this could be.
I guess I'd have to use the weapon, or not the weapon, but the vehicle that we find. I have not used it.
Yeah, I haven't used it. I just got in.
Well, you don't have to. You can just go back to Paseo. I mean, it'll be faster. Probably.
Oh,
although
you
can't.
could.
Actually, no, you can't. You won't be able to get to Paseo with that.
You could if you fucking didn't die in Roran like I did. Only fucking Vince made it out. And I don't think he has tech at all.
Okay.
That's fucked.
Well, while that's happening, yes, let's get into the doctor's acquisition. Get back to Paseo. There's a knock at the door, just like all the others will say. And then a white girl is standing there. She says, "How do you do? I am Dr. Amy Sage. I heard that you were seeking to solve the mystery of the biomonsters. I will be glad to assist you, though I am not much of a fighter. But I can heal wounds. Give me a new name if you wish, as a sign of closeness." What did you get? What did you guys name her?
I didn't change her name. I just let it be as is.
No fun, Jane. No fun. What about you, Jeff?
That seemed unbelievably possessive. I let her keep her name.
Okay.
All right.
I changed her name. I changed her name to Nippo. 2 N's P-O, and that is short for 99 potions.
Oh, there you go.
Good one. Good one, Josh. Doctor is her job title. She's got 10 HP to start and 18 TP to start and has res in her tech book. And that is, obviously comparative to where you're at, or where I was at anyways when I got her. I was like, that is a liability and a half. But she does level pretty quickly.
She levels quickly, but still a liability.
It's still a liability. It's very much white mage shit for sure.
Yeah.
Her bio reads, a doctor from a normal home. Specializes in both healing wounds and curing poison, not strong in battle. Correct.
Yes, definitely. Understood.
She is equipped with a scalpel, a carbon suit, and shoes at the starting position. And I dropped that poison shot on her. I'd got in the lab in her left hand, so she was dual rocking that with a scalpel, which I thought was a fun visual, like this little ray gun and a scalpel.
I literally had the same visual.
Yeah. So now, this was, this is the first time that we're rolling with a 4-person full party, and it felt good to be doing so. I was happy about that, to say the least. It's
good
to
just
look
to fill
at
it out.
On the screen. So yeah, it was a long while before I would think to come back and check for another fucking character. It wasn't until I was banging my head against the wall in Roran right before having the epiphany of looking in that black void on the ground floor. So, I'm kind of just trying everything. I said I was checking every fucking trash bin, rooting around in trash bins and shit. And it occurred to me that with this game, whenever you feel stuck, at least until you have everyone, I guess, maybe even beyond that. Maybe they're not all on the charts and shit. Who knows? But the smart thing to have at the top of your troubleshooting docket is to stop back in the pad at Paseo and see if any new stalkers have shown up. That's the thing to do, So I go back, and sure enough, there's a knock at the door. Short purple hair, probably male intended, but there's some fluidity there, I think, with this cat. He says, "How do you do, Todd? I am Hugh Thompson, a biologist. I came when I heard about your quest. I value all life, including biomonsters. I am willing to fight to defend weaker life forms, though. Perhaps my knowledge will be of help to you. I will feel like we are good friends if you give me a nickname." And what did you guys go with for this?
I didn't change him because, again, I didn't use him, so I just left him there.
Suck City. Chab?
Do not intend to use him. Seems weird to change someone's name.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
I changed the other ones, though. I don't know. I changed at least Vince's. I don't know. Final Fantasy VII kick that day.
I went with In Way, short for Nature's Way. How do you like that one, Jab?
Ooh, I love that one.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes, plays right into his role play there, too. You know, immediately came to mind after reading his diatribe about being in tune with life forms.
Yeah, he was all over the board about that, too. He was like, I love all life, but not some.
I'm willing to fight to defend weaker life forms. I think that's an admirable value system. I think it makes sense to me.
It's not a bad idea.
Starts fighting against us.
Right, I don't need this motherfucker covering my back here.
He's questionable.
Well, I mean, you know, it's like, to me, that's what I liked about it too, is that, you know, I feel like it creates some, you know, it's just like fucking D&D type shit where you have, you know, alignments that don't mix so well, and like then you have to navigate some extra shit that is a little elevated, other than just we're all out killing shit together. Like we also are people with fucking perspectives and different viewpoints and have to learn to coexist in some way, shape, or form. And you have to respect my set of beliefs and perspectives. You can't just fucking do whatever you want if we're going to be a cohesive unit. You know?
Yeah, you got to consider.
For example, if I score 50 points, you bitch ass motherfuckers better at least contribute in an elimination game against the Magic. You know.
Seems reasonable. You also seem upset about that.
So, his bio reads, has been intrigued by nature since his childhood, now the leading expert on plants and animals. And he's not just any old expert, he's the leading expert. So,
that's actually crazy.
Yeah, get the fuck off the tracks. He's coming through. He starts with 16 HP, 19 TP, 14 strength, 26 mental, 10 agility, 6 luck, 10 dexterity. He's got a scalpel as well, the carbon suit for body armor, and then shoes for gear. No techniques to start. So I get him.
Being the leading scientist, he's got no technique to start. Whack. This guy's whack. Get out of here, Hugh.
He gets.
Hold on, I'm getting home just now. I got my ass kicked in that dungeon.
Okay.
Home at last, but there's no time to relax before you go out again.
So no, it says that before you even get that bullshit. So you don't have the record available. So yeah, maybe it is very much.
It's got to be location done.
Again, unless we'll remember hopefully to double back and compare our levels in our status updates. But my best guess is yes, it's probably location dependent. So I got him, and yes, I haven't been here in a while. I walk back outside, and I have the thought. There can't be another one here waiting already, is there?
I'm here.
Sure
enough,
might
as well check.
Yeah, exactly. So I walk back in. There's a knock at the door, and yes, it is a Jesus Christ! It is a bomb blonde shell with a serious head of hair, wearing a Voltron suit that is near identical to Todd's. I noted, and she says, "I have long waited to meet you. I am Anna Zersky. I am known as a guardian. Although most hunters are good, some have gone bad. I track them down. My job is to hunt evil hunters, but I can hunt anything. I dislike guns, but give me a weapon and a blade, and I am deadly. I can help you. Yes, give me a new name, and I can forget the past and concentrate on the present. Did you guys have no fun with this one either?
I actually changed hers.
What is it?
I didn't.
Fucker. Jay?
No, she's just Amy. I just left her.
Not Amy, Anna.
Amy. You got two Amy's?
Oh.
You did change.
If you're not going to be...
I don't have Anna. I don't have any...
Oh, you didn't get the Guardian. That's right.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You should... Like, you are the key then, because your level's got to be at least as close as Jab's. Go back and see if she is available.
I'm at town right now. I don't know if I'm in the right town, though.
Paseo,
level 13 for
I know.
me.
I'm just saying I Ryuka it, but I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah. Well, I doubt you would have. Well, I mean, you don't need to save, so maybe it takes you back. Who knows? But I named her Dime, as in dime piece. Her bio is of certain age and background. She is a vicious fighter with a slicer or whip. Takes no prisoners.
Damn. Okay.
So she takes no prisoners and basically hunts Fooks for a living. And is a dime piece. Guess who is immediately headed to the front lines of this party, and Peckerwood Fook becomes little more than a couch surfer in my pad. He's done. Guardian is her job title, and her HP is 18 to start, 12 TP, 20 strength, 27 mental, 23 agility, 9 luck, 15 dexterity. And she starts with the headgear, boomerang, which is a fun weapon, and then fiber cape and boots. And she also starts with foy of her own, so she's got an attack technique to start.
There are probably some real sexy high heel boots, too.
Yeah, for sure. Part of her Voltron outfit, no question. The anime, Voltron's anime, definitely sexy something.
Tell us more. Come on, you sound like you got
and but the fact that she has technique and she can learn them, clearly having one, immediately fast tracks her ahead of Fook, who is never going to learn technique. At least
Fook
I
is
would
which
guess.
one?
Fook is the
Hunter.
the hunter.
Oh, okay, so I did change his name. Yeah, I was actually looking at my screen just now, and I was like, I might get him out of there. Like, the bladed weapons seem better in this game, and I've never been super impressed with him outside of his survivability. He does take a hit.
Sure. His HP is just fucking astronomical. But hers...
I also thought that he's a hunter, right?
There's a knock
Exactly.
at the door.
Yeah, I thought maybe she was going to have beef with him.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
there should be. I mean, I didn't put her in the party together, but that sure would be interesting if that happens. I doubt it does, but...
Anna Zerksky.
We should fence test that.
There you go. So it probably is location then, if she was waiting there
really?
for Jay.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty much confirms it.
Look at us fucking just doing science. We do science so hard on this podcast. It's so
man.
good.
It's incredible. On the fly, too.
yeah. Fucking solving fucking eternal questions right here on the spot. It's
That's the
fucking
great
incredible.
thing about the scientific method is, like, it is applicable to any problem you have. Just
Yeah.
follow the rules and you're going to get there.
Yep.
It's just absolutely fascinating.
So I finished that little meet cute sequence with Dime, and I'm clearly going to try again to be thorough. And yes, there was some waiting, but now that I'm hearing and we're deciding that it's location dependent, and we're linking this to Curie, and we haven't done Curie for the pod, I'm going to table this character. And we'll talk about that later, which is sad because I'm super excited, and the name for this one is very topical.
Well,
Maybe,
it's
yeah,
gonna
I got
have
to,
to
I got to do it. Fuck it. Because it's too topical not to do right now.
right.
So, it says, holy shit, there's a knock on the door. A dude with spiky blue hair, prickishly arched eyebrows, and a popped collar walks in. He says, and like highly colloquially, he says, how's you do? I's to see, glad to see you. Yup, I done heard you going out after them bad uns. I can help you. I ain't much for some slimy critters, but if any machines or robots get in your way, I can bust them up real good. My birthing name be Josh Kane. What's the matter? Don't you think it's a good name? So yeah, fucking like very crazy ass fucking dialogue for him. And I was tempted to stick with Josh, but he's written so dumb that I kind of felt mildly offended to have done so. So I switched him to Cods, as in Codsworth. How do you like that jab?
Ooh, hey.
For
I like
Fallout. Yeah,
Yeah.
since he's mechanic, machiney, robotsy,
He's got that, like, cutesy voice.
Right. So his bio reads, wanted to be a mechanic, but also broke whatever he tried to fix, decided to make that his job. And that's a pretty funny backstory, I think, by 1989 video game standards. So bravo, SEGA.
They've done some decent work on that, actually. I'm impressed.
Story building in this fucking game has been great, man. I don't have any complaints at all. I think they do a fantastic job of, trying, like I said, little shit like that head rot thing, just like little tiny bells and whistles, I think, to
Just enough to add a little bit of personality. Get you
Yep.
thinking.
add some flavor. It's always a little Sega goofy, too, which also is just more interesting, I think, than Nintendo's kind of fucking stiff approach to everything. So Wrecker is his official job title, and he's got 16 HP, 8 TP, 15 strength, 10 mental, 16 agility, 11 luck, 8 dexterity. He's got a dagger, a fiber coat, and shoes on gear, and Foy also to start with, and then a new one, Forza, for techniques, which we'll get into in our arcane teachings here shortly. And yeah, there was only one open slot left after this, so that's the Thief, and I'm kind of mildly surprised that it wasn't available to me here when when I walked up, to be honest with you. But
I can kind of see if it's location based, and it seems like it is.
right, no, yeah, but I hadn't worked that out yet, so yeah,
I can
makes total
see
sense.
kind of where it's going, but
Right.
yeah.
And honestly, I to be honest with you, I hope that they stagger it a little more, and I hope it's not just the next POI like that.
Yeah, if
that
it's like
tower,
each one, that's kind of crazy.
right? Yeah, the tower in that lake would be the next one. Then I think for our next POI, we haven't gotten to expectations yet, but that is my guess. So yeah, I didn't put in my party. I rolled with the Guardian up front. I kept Neh in second position. Todd remained in third, and I actually went with the Botanist. I liked the animal thing plus Nature's Way. I couldn't leave Nature's Way at all. And that's crazy.
That's really good. I should find a way to work somebody in, because I'm going to get the Guardian in. I really don't want to get rid of Nay. Well, the Doctor's going to go. Yeah, I should pick a less than optimal character instead of min-maxing.
Yeah.
Especially since I'm going to buy equipment this time.
Any foresight on how did you... you kind of started to say it, I guess, Jay, but how did you... I know clear Guardian's not factored in yet, but what were you... did you work in the bottom? No, you said you left it home. Never mind. So it must be what? Hunter, agent, doctor, right?
Yep.
Word.
Yep. I might switch the other person in just because they said they're, ruthless or whatever.
That's it. Yeah, she's got great dialogue. Great dialogue. Yep.
Yeah, it's a great interview, honestly.
Yep.
It's like, hey, we're gonna kill things. She's like, I fucking love it.
I am a rim wrecker if you let me get at him. Jab, give us your grind first.
My grind was terrible, and we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, maybe even a couple times early in the episode. But it was hard to find like a big disparity in enemies, consistently, especially, going west and hitting Opta and the Biosystems lab. Like, you can find them a little bit here and there, but it wasn't consistent enough. And by the time I'm not leveling in the Biosystems lab because, that's like, what kind of psychopath levels in the Marsh Cave? Like, there's just better places to do this.
This is not the Marsh Cave, so I was definitely leveling in those labs.
Going
to the first floor, like, let me just see, because I had the exact same problem.
Yeah, this is also a function of me fucking up and not buying weapons and armor because I'm afraid of checking the fact or something. But like, either way, I only really leveled over by the Tower of Nito and inside the Tower of Nito a little bit, and I didn't get a lot of work done actually. Because I mean, like, you're just like, I had 3 characters at the time. I didn't level at all with the Doctor, who did level up very quickly, as you mentioned. But yeah, like, I was like leveling over there, and it was going so slowly. I was like, it's just not worth it. I got to go to the next thing. And by the time I got to the next thing, I was kind of already into it. And yeah, so I didn't level a lot actually.
What was your final ending ratio?
What was it? 13 for Jab, 25 for Nay, 12 for Vince, and 6 for Amy.
Copy that.
Actually, it might not be a huge difference at all.
Jay, other than the Biosystems Lab run, any other big spots?
So south of Zima, I stayed there for a while, like all the way down to the bottom. You have to go.
You actually, if you get like the very southwestern corner, you get some weird battles. I noticed that as well when I was heading over to Roran for the first time.
Dude, I found a spot where I got like 1100 Meseta for beating some enemies, and then like 780. So I was like, let me just try to stay around this area. But then I would get like 2 after that. So I'm like, it's just like RNG. But I was trying to stay south, as far south as I could around there. So
did you guys not even notice that did you not even find that bridge over to the Curie area? That's crazy.
I saw.
I did not, and I can tell you exactly how. Because Jay and I were referring to the strategy stuff. So you come out of the Blue Dam, and you see Zima Town over to your right. You're just hugging the wall and going down. So like your screen never quite gets down there. So that's what happened.
Yeah, there was only one time. Yeah, there was only one time when I was kind of going back and forth and trying to find like, is there a better spot to like hit those big enemies again? That I kind of saw a bridge going left, but I'm like, at this point, it's just going to be the same. Like, I'm not even going over there yet.
I thought you were going to say it's going to be too hard.
No, because this game broke that. Like Dragon War, the other games, like you expect, it's going to be harder, but you cannot rely on that here. That is not the case. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
So in ratio, what was your in ratio?
My in ratio, let me see. Jay is level 12. Jay and Dean are level 12. Amy, my doctor, is level 11, but Nay's at 24.
Okay.
Damn, you must have got Amy fairly early on.
I don't know. She just been,
no, did they catch up quick? Yeah, man. Mine.
She's been catching.
Yeah,
up.
but I'm Jab's 13 and Amy's 6.
Oh wow.
And like I took her on like quest shit.
Right, but honestly, when you come back out and you start playing again, I bet she's up in double digits.
That's a good point.
But before
mine changes.
Before Jab, maybe once, but not twice. There's no way you'll get 2 levels before she's in double digits.
That's a really good point. Yep.
Yeah. So a little bit of Tower of Nido, it didn't take me long in there. It was a pretty easy dungeon, so did a little bit of grinding there. Came out at 10:19:7. Because Marsh Cave, Lab, took 5 fucking visits for me to conquer. I, of course, did some leveling there, too. 13, 24, 11, 7 for me. coming out of there. And yes, between the 4th and 5th visits to there is where I finally remembered the dual wielding capability shit that you blew our minds with, Jab. So yeah, I doubled up Ness ceramic bar action there, and yes, it just
game changer.
Yeah, it's not. We haven't specifically said it, but it doesn't just change damage. It gives you 2 full attacks per turn in succession. Even they're not even broken up. So it's that may seem insignificant, but in the execution or order of operations in a fight, knowing that she's going to attack twice every single time is dependable and strategizable. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
I think that's also why I forgot about using techniques for the other people, because Dean doesn't have them. And with her, no way am I using her technique unless
she doesn't have any attack ones anyways.
Desperately needed to heal someone. Yeah, otherwise, I'm not losing those 2 attacks.
Yeah, all her TP is all just healing for me. Yeah. I just use her as a healing
100%.
bot.
Post battle healing.
Yep. So because there was so much hot shit to buy in Curie once I got over there and found it, and so much hot shit to grind on outside of it, I logged some serious time over in that enclosure, stacking that paper and intern XP. There are reptiles, there's the head rots I mentioned, fan bites, which I think those are the worms, I think, maybe, over on the coast, and they are just all the shit. So by the time I am heading to Roron, my ratio is 14, 28, 13, 12. Ooh. So I am fucking rocking and rolling. And yeah, I mean, like I said, the doc caught right up. I mean, like, just to give you an idea, Jab, there, she's just 2 behind my agent at that point, I hadn't reordered yet. Or even if that is Todd, I think I did reorder by Ned, so maybe Todd's 13, so your agent will be just 1 ahead.
Yeah.
Same with mine, yep.
So yeah, I reshuffle my party contents after the mass enlistment event, and I immediately go on a shopping spree to outfit what would be my staple party moving forward, Dime, and Nature's Way. And I went straight to Phantasy Star Cave to kind of sort all this out. So I'm going to tell you guys right now what the optimal math is if you have not done the chart shit with Curie. I'm going to let you in on the fucking system, man. So yeah, keep in mind, I've just went to Zima. I haven't done Roron. I am over here immediately after dumping that 20k over at Zima on what is going to be a bunch of inferior shit. So, very frustrating that there's not, more. There should be something in the way to waste that on, that you're forced to waste it on, or use it on, however you want to term that, before you can get to Curie and just replace it all. So I was super disappointed in that flowchart. But, whatever. The invisible hand of the market doesn't care about your wasted fucking sunk costs.
Keep your receipt.
Right, yeah, right. So for Dime, the Guardian, so the laser slasher is available in Curie, but the laser knife is actually better on attack, which is fucked up, and offers some defense that the slasher does not. So dual wielding those for her was optimal on both attack and cost fronts. And I noticed that because I just got her, so I'm outfitting her kind of from scratch, So I'm kind of looking at it and I'm like, well, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Let me really look at this chart and start analyzing everyone. But it's the optimal attack situation for everyone until you get into the really high-end special weaponry that you're not going to even find in shops, I assume. Like, if you look at the bottom of those weapon charts, like those fucking crazy things that are like insane numbers, some of those two-handed swords and stuff, most of which only Todd can use, or the agent can use anyways. Otherwise, everyone should be using dual laser knives. And that, to me, kind of blew my mind. And yes, to your point, Jab, kind of bummed me out that it's that uniform.
Yeah, it's reductive.
Right. Yeah. So
that's not the perfect term of that, but yeah.
Right. So Todd, he'd been rolling with 1 laser knife and a shield. Like even 1 laser knife was better than any of the other options for him before I went dual wield. But I'm looking at the shield situation, and the ceramic shield offers plus 39 defense, which was better than, I just wasted money on the mirror shield, and I got that. So that gives you 39 defense, which is, of course, more. But later, when the dope late-game swords become available, they're all two-handed. So I was I might as well just rip the fucking Band-Aid off now and get accustomed to not having that defensive addition, basically, and play accordingly. And all those swords do have a little bit of defense to them too. So it's kind of just like the dual wielding of the knives giving you the defensive kicker to some degree.
Huh.
Kind of wild.
See, I'm looking at it now. I'm gonna have to do my own math. I mean, I believe you when you say dual wielding. Here's actually what you're saying. I believe you when you say 38 times 2 is 76. Like, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you got to dig into it a little more. You get to 5 hit points there, and let's say ceramic sword.
It definitely works out.
There it is. He had 60 and 10, so you're gonna double your defense and drop 16 attack. Yeah, I mean, I can see the logic.
But a best defense is always to murk everything in front of you so they can't even attack you, in my opinion.
I think that's how that saying goes, yeah.
Yeah, right. So
yeah, I'll have to do my own math.
No, yeah, there's a little bit of give and take to it for sure. You're losing some defense, so
but
it's
not so much that,
right.
Again, attack is always king in these games, and it's hard to imagine that, like...
Wait a minute, why do you guys keep saying you're losing defense? The laser sword, the Ceram sword is 10. If you're using two laser knives, they're 10. Each 5 each. You're still 10. You still have the same amount of defense. You're literally just losing attack power.
You're losing attack power.
No, because you lose the shields plus 39 that the ceramic shield gives you.
Well, I'm ignoring the shield because
it would be a two-handed sword.
Right. I was not. I was using one laser knife because I wanted to use these shields.
The way you were doing it was the least efficient.
Yeah, I'm comparing
right.
right. Dual wield versus the two-handed sword.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and the dual wield versus two-handed, you don't lose. The defense is even, and you just lose 16 attack. I'm going to use the ceramic sword because fuck it. I think it's a cool idea. I like swords.
I'm still using it, but for everybody else, we'll see.
Yeah. No, the straw that broke the camel's back for me was it was a fiscal wash to make this decision. Like selling the ceramic shield I just dumped 8,300 pesetas into netted me basically the cost of the second laser knife. So I was like, fuck it. It doesn't even cost me money to make this better offensive switch. Yeah. Fuck it, So that was the deciding factor for me.
I promise you will end the game with more meseta than you know what to do with.
For sure. Especially if I'm not grinding header routes the way I was. So back to Dime. Her armor situation. You have to go with the costly cape on the titanium torso covering option set, and then titanium gear for helmet. And she's the only one other than Neh that can rock the knife boots, which is a cool, unique armor thing you can get here in Kiri. And it's as the name kind of suggests, it gives you a little attack boost. So those are cool. And it's a costly addition, but it's worth it in my opinion. For Nature's Way, my botanist, he's, kind of already explained my weaponry plan. It applies to him as well. And then his armor situation is titanium gear for his melon, chest for the titanium torso. This is the thing, too, over the doctor. He can use a little bit better equipment, so better defense, and he does a lot of the same idea shit, She can get, kind of that elevated healing spell, that is better than the ones I have with Neh and what Nature's Way here gets, but again, cost benefit. And then he had to get him out of his shoes and give him a pair of combat boots as well, and he was able to hand me down Dime Piece's boots to him, or I was able to hand me down Dime Piece's boots because I gave her those knife boots, so it didn't cost me any money to do that.
So hopefully, Dime Piece's boots to Nature's Way.
Yeah, hopefully they don't fit him too snugly to distract him. Tight shoes can be a motherfucker.
He's probably going to have to get used to walking in heels a little bit, but he'll figure it out.
Right. So yes, that was my equipment situation. I don't know, did you guys do any heavy? I guess we already talked about Zima, so if you haven't been to Kira, you probably don't have much to say on that front. Let us talk about arcane teachings, and there were a fuck ton of them with all these new characters. We got Gra, which is an 8EA /, so 8 TP, enemies, not people, or party rather, and then AoE, not single, as far as who it affects. And the back of the map description is a simple damage of 20 to the enemy. Todd gets this at level 10. And the manual description for it is its 3 forms create sudden gravitational waves that compress whatever is in the area. And this magic is very effective in narrow corridors, it says. And again, I don't know how we fence test this, but if there's a mathematical incentive to use this in narrow hallway battles, holy fuck is that cool.
I'm not holding my breath for that.
I'm not either, but I feel like why would you even bother it'd be crazy almost to have that, to bother creating the spell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the point then of even having the other options? And there's plenty of shit with these old games. That's what's the point? Sure, but man, is that far down the road on that,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It would take a little more work than we're probably going to do, but maybe Lurk Disciples out there, if you know of someone who's crunched that math, fucking please do let us know. I'd love to see the fucking data. We have SAC coming at us next. It is SAK. It's a 1 PA. And this recovers your party's max HP, but you lose your life. Or 2 max HP, rather, but you lose your life. So this is pretty cool. Neg gets it to 20, and it's a... the manual description reads, very specific magics with which you will offer your own life to save your comrades. And that's wild as fuck, that you basically can sacrifice yourself to get the other back to full health.
Why is that cool? I would never freaking use that. That's
you never do it, but if you...
the stupidest thing that...
If you're in a battle, again, you're weighing in from a save state standpoint. I think in a real world OG hardware situation, that's kind of like that chance magic in Dungeons and Dragon Warrior and shit, where you're like, it's last straw, and you're trying to fucking get over some little fucking narrative hump, and you're like, fuck it, I'd rather have this fucking character that can do this thing than who, yes, she's a fucking wrecking crew, but maybe who knows? I don't know.
I can't imagine that situation in this.
I can't either, but it's cool that it's an option, in my opinion. So there's also the next tier of it, NASAC, which will do this for the whole party. So it's obviously added incentive here. Like you have 2 characters that are down, maybe sacrificing Naz worth a little more to you, and she gets that at 24, but it also only costs 1 technique point too. So that more lends itself, I think, even, obviously just the math of it, but I think that even just like story building wise, it plays more into the idea of it being a last ditch effort. Like it'd be really hard to not have the MP to do this, to make this decision if you so choose to make it, you know what I mean? So that's kind of cool, I think. The next one is Gathu. Todd gets this at 11. It's a 13 ES, and it does damage of 80 to the enemy, and it's just step 2 of the Tsu, or Su, TSU, and that's concentrating a light beam into a laser beam attack. There is Shu. The doc gets this at 2 and increases your party's defense. You mentioned probably using that, Jay. It's a 3 PS situation, so only works on a single player, but it is a buff nonetheless. We have Daban, and this creates a barrier around the party. That's another doc buff. She gets at 4, and it creates a dense air barrier that keeps the enemy from attacking around the entire party. Doc gets her own anti and foy at 5. There's Gires, Gires, and that's a 7 PS, recovers 60 HP. Doc gets it at 6. That's that level 2 of res that I mentioned. That is nice to have, and I used a little bit before I got her out of my party. There is Sar. This is a 13 PA, recovers 20 HP, but the whole party, so it's an AoE heal. Doc gets this at 9, so she's even getting like variations of elevated heals, which is cool. And I also like just the copy you get with it. In my case in particular, because of her name, read, Nippo heals everybody's wounds, and just had a nice ring to it. And Doc gets her own sack at 10, and Nasac at 12. And then Nufoy is a 12E S, so single enemy. Does damage of 130, though, so it's level 3 of the fire. And the description of this on the chart reads, incinerates an enemy to ashes, which is badass. Todd gets that at 14. Then we have Forza, and this is causes mechanisms attack to fail. So you guys don't have the record yet, and the record is very interesting. And I don't want it in my party yet, but again, it's got to be Jab. This really has to be leaning towards these specificity things have got to work, because it seems like his whole fucking deal. So basically, this falls into a category in the manual titled Machine Magics. And it reads, these were created during the research and development of new machinery. Forza makes machinery malfunction, and the record starts with this spell. So there are a number of these machine spells that only he can learn. So it's pretty clear to me that we'll hit a part of this game with really, really bout it robots, and he'll need to be in the party, I think, to tactfully navigate these, unless we're ridiculously overleveled, probably.
Or if you can use his spells in a dungeon, at that mainframe where we found the recorder, maybe it works like that.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I certainly hope that these specialized characters that we may not be so inclined to initially put into our party, that we'll be forced to utilize them in some way, shape, or form later on. It'll be frustrating, because they'll be fucking near useless when we first bring them out, and we'll have to waste some fucking time just leveling them. But from a narrative perspective, you got to give if we're building a team here, they got to have some role, I think. Specialized role. And like, I would like it to be, I guess, maybe not required unless you do ridiculously over level. Like, it may be possible, but it should be more advantageous and appealing to have to use them in some way.
Yeah, there's got to be. Yeah, I'm down with that.
The biologist raised 2 levels at once after my second battle with him, so I'm not sure when you get each. Like, I didn't even notice what he had at the start or when we got these, but he got a few levels right in a row in one single battle. But I got Remit, which is RIMIT, 3 CS on that, and it causes creatures move to be paralyzed. And I was surprised he got this. Expected the Wrecker to be all machine magics, this is in the category of, so that's kind of interesting. But got Doran, which is a 2 CS. This causes creatures' attack to fail, and it impairs an enemy's aim, so his attacks miss their marks. So it's kind of like maybe a ruse spell or something in Final Fantasy. And the text for it's pretty cool. It reads, X has gone insane. That's pretty fun as fuck. And then there's Gen, Gen. It's a 1 CS situation. Causes creatures to rapidly age. And no further explanations in the manual, so I was eager as fuck to see what this would do exactly. And in battles, a green ball comes out of the character, and the enemy just disappears. And I was kind of sad that there was no flavor text for that, because that would probably be fun if they bothered to come up with it. And I wasn't sure. I'm wondering if you still get the XP or not, because it does just disappear. It doesn't say damage is done. It doesn't say it's dead. Yeah. Right. It just is gone, you know.
Yeah, so it's like turning undead and D&D doesn't get you any experience.
Precisely. And then at 5, he gets 2 more spells. Sagan, same as Jin, but AoE. It's a 3CA. And then Shin B, and this causes creatures to escape, so they just run away. So again, I don't think you get experience from that. And then and Shiza at 6, and this is a 6 CS. Prevents the creatures from making special attacks, so it very specifically takes away those special attacks that the bestiary is mentioning for certain enemies. And then Dime got Nair at 6. This is a 2 PS. Speed up your party's moves, specifically raises agility. And then there's an AoE Saner the Doc can get 2. That's even hotter, so that's kind of fast, kind of what it seems to me, which is the best spell in Final Fantasy. I wonder if it is here as well. And then lastly, she gets Shift at 8. And Shift is a 5YS. It increases your fighting ability. And I think she can only cast it on herself. This is the Guardian we're talking about here. So, I don't know. It's kind of a bummer that you can't use it on others, but it is cool that she can obviously upgrade herself, which is, I guess, part of her lethality, perhaps. Let us now dive into our choice literature of antiquity, the Phantasy Star 2 hint book, and discuss the pages covering what we've played through since the last episode. We will begin with Tower of Nido. Jay, could you take us down that little trip through memory lane?
The Tower of Nido is a 3-level dungeon. You will meet very powerful enemies before finding Team, which I call Cap on that, as the kids say. Find Team in the Tower of Nido. Use the dynamite to break through the entrance to the Tower of Nido. Although the tower is only 3 levels high, it is more difficult than the Dungeon of Shur.
That's true.
Do not overestimate yourself. Own your skills through the fights against the weaker enemies on the first level. Of course, you will need your medical supplies and an escape pipe. Follow the map carefully when proceeding through the dungeon, or you may be eliminated by a stronger opponent. Take special care on the 3rd level, since the enemy is very powerful. I don't know what enemy they're talking about.
They keep using a singular thing. And
well, it is this biomonster hive, Maybe they are all mentally linked. We haven't gotten to the bottom of that, guys.
Yeah, there could be that. And also, we were wondering if there was mini boss, hey, when I stepped there, was it actually a fight? And, I wonder if that's what they're talking about, but I don't know. That's weird. Right. It also could just be really bad translations.
That's probably the most likely.
Pointless theory.
Yeah. And they got page 15 as well. Jay?
Can you overcome the enemy and save Team? Very strong opponents are encountered on the 3rd level. You must beat them to save Team. Team will tell you that a man named Darum at the North Bridge is her father. She will ask you to take her to the North Bridge to see him. If you save Team without encountering the enemy, use the escape pipe immediately and return to the outside. Probably you are badly hurt. Go straight to the hospital in town for treatment. Then see Darum at the North Bridge. And I was not hurt.
Yeah. And that, dude, I think that means that those amoebas are... That's what they're talking about. It's one square and you can't avoid it, is what that sounds like to me. Or how I want to interpret that anyhow. So
it makes sense because they were hard when I first encountered them, and before I was like adept at dual wielding and all that. They definitely kicked my butt. So, but I did not encounter them right here before Team. It was nice walk.
Jab, Northbridge.
What will happen when Team meets her father, Darum? Your journey
expands,
right? Your journey expands when you cross this bridge. You saved Team to cross this bridge. Now your journey will grow after crossing the bridge. However, Darum, Team's father, is on the bridge. You were surprised...
You say bridge one more time.
I honestly thought I was reading it poorly. You were surprised when they meet. Their sad story awaits you. And it's got a little picture breakdown of the reunion of Darum and Team.
Yeah. Arrow, dead.
Fucking done. Not that you can see it. How did they get screenshots of that? We ever talk about that?
We've talked about it, like the maps. Like I said, they have.
Maybe I just remembered that.
They had this. It was a crazy ass system that they had to come up with, and it was like, I'm based on exactly what it was now. But yeah, it was like some special ass fucking like kind of machine
tool.
They were not just taking Polaroids like we kind of prognosticated early on. Jab. Yeah, there's like they had some sort of machine that they were doing it with, and I can't remember what it was offhand. But
yeah, it was probably like fucking 12 engineers worked on it for 6 months, and now we just hit like 2 buttons at once on our phone.
Right.
Also, the 17? Or what
this is the 17's me. So this is our first section. It's not like a POI. It's like just kind of like I don't know. It's like game strategy fucking tangent, you know. Yeah. And the titling reads weapons and other items required for your companions. Now there are 3 of you. You will have more companions later. Check everybody's weapons and items. Your situation just now, and they show Rolf I almost called her NFL, and then Nudo. First, Rolf the agent must have a sword to fight with. How about Neh? Have her buy 2 steel bars at the armorer's shop in Arima. Neh should have a steel bar in each hand, so they tell you very specifically to be dual wielding. That's good. So she can attack twice. A shotgun is recommended for Rudo. As you replace the protective gear from now on, don't buy and sell often. That's also good fucking advice that if I'd have followed, maybe I wouldn't have wasted that money in Zima. Also, use the protective gear acquired in the dungeons carefully. Always carry your medical supplies. Take as much as you can carry. Also take a telepipe and an escape pipe. Just giving you some inventory management tip. Yep. Jay, take us through Oputa. So it's called Oputa here. So it's just a map typo for sure because it's Opta on the map. So they do call it Oputa here.
Oputa is the first town you come to after crossing the bridge. What does Ustvestia say about the music technique? You find many new items at the armorer's shop and the protective gear store in Oputa. You will be better protected by the items you acquire in this town. The most important matter here, however, is to go to Ustvestia's home. Ustvestia will ask you many questions. Answer his questions well, and he will tell you about the music technique. You need money to learn this technique. The price is different for males and females. You will discover the purpose of learning the music technique through later adventures.
Yeah, they don't even tell you.
Right?
Still don't tell you, I should say, I guess.
Nay's skill will become better than the others. You must continue onward and do not worry. During the trip, Nay's skill will become better than the others. You must continue onward and not worry. Remember, Nay is becoming stronger. And when I first read this, I somehow misinterpreted this to mean that because I did the music thing, that's why Nay was doubling up XP over everyone else. So reading through this again, I'm like, that does not sound like that's the case at all. These sound like 2 separate events. So fascinating. And your 4th companion appears. Return to Paseo by teleport station after getting the information and buying your supplies in Oputa. Your companions will visit your home in Paseo. The fourth is Amy.
There you go. That also settles our debate entirely. It's telling you, once you go to Apuda, you can go get her. So
That's it.
Yeah.
Location-based. What does that bottom say? Amy is a female medical doctor and knows techniques that will restore your physical strength. Okay.
Yeah. That Gires, that 80 health healing thing was definitely
Clutch, yeah.
clutch.
I don't know. Well, if you have her, use it, sure. It maths out better than the little ones, I guess, probably. Jab, Biosystems Lab. Doozy here.
You have arrived at the Biosystems Lab. They do that a lot. The Biosystems Lab is the third dungeon. The Biosystems Lab has 3 levels above ground and 2 basement levels. The recorder is on the first basement level. There's barely any different words there. And it's got a couple of map captures of the first and second level, some items that you can find, the antidote, star mist, scalpel, and then the enemies that you might expect.
That's it. Yeah, they don't have any other shit.
It's
It's
kind of
hints
nothing
for each
else.
level. Then yeah, I'd expected more to be in there.
I can do 24 if you want. Jay's been reading a lot.
I would be next. You trying to take my shine away?
You're not very good.
Oh,
I don't have to tell you like this. But
You can read. You can read. That's fine.
the commander of Paseo gives you your next task. Give the recorder to the commander of Paseo. The commander orders you to go to the library when you arrive at the central tower. When you arrive at the library, somebody there tells you the cause of the abnormality at the Biosystems Lab. She will give you a key tube to help you across the Zima Bridge. You will face a new stage when crossing the Zima Bridge. When you return home, your fifth companion, Hugh, will visit you. He is a biologist.
It's interesting, right? Because they're not actually telling you. Well, I guess they are. They're saying when you cross that bridge.
I guess that bridge must be the location.
Yep. Fair. So then you get Zima Bridge. Insert the key tube at the Zima Bridge to open the door. What awaits you after the Zima Bridge? Use the key tube you received at the library, and the door will automatically open. Now, the going gets tougher. What awaits you? I feel like this did not need a page in the fucking hint book.
They probably ordered the book, and it was already... Oh, God, this is actually a big-ass book. They had already committed to 111 pages. So they're like, fuck, I gotta put something in there.
Right, yeah. Jay, give us Zima.
Zima is the break point of your trip. In Zima, you hear about Roran. You hear of a resort town on a lake, although the suburbs of Zima are in a dry and rough terrain. What is going on? The items sold at the armorer's shop and protective gear store in Zima are expensive, but they are all necessary for your journey. We recommend you buy a serum, sword, laser knife, and cannon, all of which I picked up. When you arrive in town, ask people
Me
for
too,
information.
regretfully.
They will tell you about Roran. Roran seems to be a peninsula to the south of Zima. From now on, Zima is an important town for your journey. Zima is the break point between Curie, Piata, and Roran. You should try to conserve your energy in Zima.
That's interesting. I guess Piata's maybe that thing in the lake. I'm not even sure yet. But
I don't even know what that is.
yeah, it's interesting that the break point is... Yeah, that's bad translation. It doesn't make any sense. Break point. Like they mean like the hub is what they're...
Like,
yeah.
maybe.
I think they might be saying it's like a general central location.
Right, exactly. Yes, that's what hubs are.
Jab. So.
So all there's left is Roran. Jab, take us through Roran, the dungeon. Your dungeon boy. Dungeon boy, take us through Roran.
Dungeon boy. Oh, God, and it's the word I can't say. Roran.
That's good. That works.
Roran. Can you get a jet scooter from the Motavian in Roran? Something sinister awaits you in Roran. I hate how they do this. Walk to Roran from Zima. Roran is situated on a peninsula along a beach to the southeast of Zima. The building on this peninsula is the garbage dump for Roran. The Motavian living at the dump will give you a jet scooter. He's living there, not working. There is a dungeon for combustible garbage and a dungeon for non-combustible garbage at the dump. Your opponents become stronger as you go further into the basement.
That is so cool that there is like a narrative reason for those to be segregated like that.
Yep.
God damn it. makes me upset that I'm like I like something about the way it's set up.
About this madness.
Yeah, it's fucking okay. That's pretty cool, I guess. Yeah. Well, after hearing of the jet scooter from the Motavian leave the garbage dump, there may be a jet scooter on the beach. They tell you explicitly in here for sure.
But it's like it's weird. Like after hearing of the jet scooter from the Motavian,
just leave.
Just leave.
But like you talk to several Motavians. I mean, it is on the third level thing.
Hearing of you have to hear of the jet scooter though. It's telling you. They tell you
I heard of it.
No, not it's just those two on each side of that chest for sure that tell you about it. Everyone else is talking about garbage, bro. Only garbage. Okay, well that wraps up our fucking Phantasy Star hint book shit for this. I guess let's talk very briefly about expectations, broad observations, and I've cheated a bit having fully explored Curie, so I know a bit more about what we have to do with that scooter and what comes next. So I, of course, won't speak on that, and maybe you guys tell me what you're thinking as far as do you have any idea what the usage for that is? I'm trying to think if they might have mentioned in Zima anything that would give you a hint. I don't think so. I think it's all in Curie. So
well, we're clearly going to Curie, and then when I was trying to get back to the place just now, I was on the jet ski or jet scooter or whatever it is. And I went north and ran into a place I couldn't go unless I need more dynamite. So
yeah.
I don't know what that was. But
you can get into that. Yeah, you can use those to ride into the tubes for sure.
So
yeah, there's some really. It's really like I said, I've obviously talked to everyone over there. It's pretty cool. I think it's pretty. They got a pretty cool thing.
We shall see.
I think.
We shall see. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, let's talk status updates. My finishing party ratio was 10, 30, 15, 10. And that's Guardian, Todd, Nature's Way. Biologist last there. So, how did you guys mentioned during your grinds? I did not. How did your twos ratios finish up? Just for comparison, who has the bigger dick?
Mine is...
I think it's a little bigger.
Mine is 12, 12, 24, 11.
And that's what? That's
agent, hunter, healer.
Doctor.
Okay.
Jab.
I got agent Jab at level 13, at level 25. I got the hunter Vincent from Final Fantasy VII at level 12, and I got Dr. Amy at level 6.
Wow, your Amy's way behind comparatively.
That's what we talked about, but like she's gonna jump up quick.
Yeah, I can't remember what I said when I benched my hunter. I can't recall what he was at. But
benched.
So let's do our agent fucking specifics here. Jay, how did is Jay, right? That's his name.
It is Jay. Yeah. He is again at level 12. He has strength 85, mental 88, agility 61, luck 72, dexterity 68, attack 122, and defense 98.
HP and TP?
HP is 99, TP 55.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but why? Why?
My HP's 100. I'm level 15. My HP's 100. I always get fucked. I always get fucked. Jab.
Boy, you're gonna hate this. Level 13 Jab. Hit points 106.
What in the fuck?
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? TP 53.
That's my TP. What the fuck?
You're inferior. Strength is 89. Mental abilities 83.
Wow,
agility
bigger.
60. Okay, rub it in.
So is my agility. Well, that's so weird.
You're more lucky than I am too, I noticed, because my luck is 68. Dexterity is 71. Attack is a paltry 102. And a defense is a measly 73.
Wait, what weapon are you using?
I told you I didn't upgrade anything.
But what weapon are you using, though?
Sword.
Oh, okay. I'm using a ceramic sword. That makes all the sense.
Yeah. My stats across the board are considerably higher than both your guys' shit. Yet I have lower HP and lower TP.
They must have they must have hit die.
I guess, yeah.
You roll hit dice when you level up.
So my HP's 100, my TP's 53, as I mentioned. My strength is 110, mental's 101, agility's 81, luck 87. Clearly not very lucky, so that's wrong.
87. Yeah, not very lucky, turns out.
Yeah, dexterity's 82, and then my attack is 128, and defense is 124. So like I said, guys, fucking the dual wielding, it's right there. It's way higher defense than both your guys' shit. And some of that's the underlying stats, sure, but not probably.
But you got some other stuff though that you're wearing for sure. Like
you
have a better than a fiber coat.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, yeah, Curie is a step up, so that's totally true. Okay. But those are where we're at. Wherever will we go from here? You can subscribe to the pod on the platform provided whatever done is coming that stirs up your pottery. Leave, or rather rate, and leave positive shit for the pod on whatever platform you do listen to us on. If you enjoy our nonsense, the website is nyentertainment.com/isohpod. Email us directly at isohpodcast@gmail.com. Follow the pod and banter with us on the Facebook page, Instagram, and or subreddit, and talk shit to us about our gameplay videos on the YouTube. The links to all those will be in the show notes. We do not have a Patreon, but if you like giving money to things podcasters tell you to, and would like to do so in our direction, the Able Gamers Foundation creates custom gaming rigs for gamers with disabilities. That's cool as fuck. AbleGamers.org is where you can find them. T-shirts are on the website. They're dope, and proceeds on those after pod expenses go to Able Gamers. Look at my Final Fantasy Chaos Total Party Wipe one right here. And Jay, what are your socials?
Gentleman JB without the second E. That's where you can find me.
Jab, what about your socials?
You can't find me anywhere.
MPO Box 0031 on Instagram.
Yeah, actually,
you can find me on Twitter at Josh Folan. On Instagram, my shift key is broke, and my Oculus tag is my shift key is broke as well. Onward. Okay, bye.
All right,
bye.
Later.